Chapter 168. What do you mean by that? Lu Jianbiao was slightly startled. He just said it casually to belittle his opponent. In his opinion, Xiao Chen was a waste, so saying that the person who stood up for him was Xiao Chen was an insult to that person. But he didn't expect that person to give him such an inexplicable sentence. Nothing. Xiao Chen said faintly, "Say, if you die here, will your master suspect that I am the one who did it?" "Who are you? Are you crazy? You're good at bragging. Do you mean you want to kill me?" Lu Jianbiao laughed. He looked at Xiao Chen and said, "Do you know my strength?" "Yes, the peak of stage 4 inner force." Xiao Chen nodded. "Then you still want to kill me?" Lu Jianbiao's heart trembled at this time, and he put away his previous mockery. Since Xiao Chen knew his strength, and with this tone, there were only two situations. Either Xiao Chen was bluffing, or he really had strength. However, Lu Jianbiao was not a reckless person. Before he dealt with Zhu Yingxiong, he deliberately investigated Zhu Yingxiong's situation. First of all, Zhu Yingxiong did not have a bodyguard, and his social circle was not big. He only had a good friend, boss Xiao Chen. This Xiao Chen was the useless young master of the Xiao family. Because he could not cultivate, he was kicked out of the Xiao family. In this way, it was reasonable to say that Zhu Yingxiong could not have a master around him. Who was this person wearing a fox mask? Lin, who had been hiding behind the door, also heard the conversation between Lu Jianbiao and Xiao Chen. Before, she was not sure who the person wearing the mask was, but after listening to a few words, Lin was sure that this person was Xiao Chen. She could still recognize Xiao Chen's voice. She was too familiar with this voice. This voice made her feel grateful and afraid at the same time. Although she didn't know why Xiao Chen was wearing a mask, at least there were two acquaintances outside, so her nervous heart slowly relaxed. Especially when she heard Xiao Chen say, "The more you know, the faster you die," Lin was even more certain that this person was Xiao Chen. Lin did not understand martial arts. Xiao Chen could not practice martial arts. She did not understand either. She only knew that Xiao Chen used to lead Qin Jinpeng and Zhu Yingxiong to school. Many people were afraid of him. Who was the other person? Why did he come here with Xiao Chen and Zhu Yingxiong? Lin did not know, but she did not dare to go out either. She could only wait for the three of them to leave. "Let's do it. We'll know once we try." Xiao Chen did not want to explain anymore. Today, he had to put an end to this. Since this person had guessed his identity, Xiao Chen, then he must die. In order to keep it a secret, for Zhu Yingxiong, and for Lin, Xiao Chen had already blacklisted Lu Jianbiao. "As you wish." Although Lu Jianbiao had not figured out what this fox mask was for, it was obvious that he was in cahoots with Zhu Yingxiong. Since he wanted to stand out, then he would kill him first and then kill Zhu Yingxiong. After he finished speaking, Lu Jianbiao roared. His figure flashed and he pounced on Xiao Chen. However, Xiao Chen was now a 4th-level refinement stage cultivator. Even if Lu Jianbiao's speed was fast, Xiao Chen's eyes could easily capture it and respond accordingly. Xiao Chen turned his fist into a palm blade. He quickly operated the mantra and mobilized his yuan qi. His hand carried a gust of wind as it chopped straight towards Lu Jianbiao's face. Xiao Chen had already moved his killing intent, so he did not hold back. From the very beginning, he used the power of the 4th level of the refinement stage. Coupled with the swift and fierce palm blade, his goal was to kill Lu Jianbiao. In terms of fighting against martial artists, Xiao Chen did not have any advantage. Although his strength was at the 4th level of the refinement stage, which was equivalent to a martial artist at the peak of the 4th level of inner strength, it was still different. Martial artists improved their strength bit by bit, one step at a time. Every increase in level was accompanied by countless battles and trials, and they had already experienced hundreds of battles. But Xiao Chen was different. Xiao Chen's strength improved too quickly. In less than a month's time, Xiao Chen had gone from an ordinary person to his current strength. Therefore, what Xiao Chen lacked the most was actual combat. Fortunately, Xiao Chen had also experienced several life and death battles and fought in the arena a few times. Otherwise, it would be hard to say whether or not he could kill Lu Jianbiao. Huh! Lu Jianbiao suddenly froze. He was startled by the strength that Xiao Chen had released at this moment. Although he could not see Xiao Chen's strength for the time being, the palm wind was not small. Therefore, Lu Jianbiao hesitated for a moment and did not dare to meet it head-on. Instead, he quickly adjusted his body and dodged Xiao Chen's blow. Originally, in his eyes, Xiao Chen was just an ordinary person. Even if this blow hit him, it would not cause any harm to him, but he did not dare. The sudden palpitation made Li Jianbiao a little afraid. However, after all, he was a martial artist at the peak of the 4th level of inner strength. After slightly adjusting his emotions, he once again exerted strength in his feet. His body was like a cheetah, and with a swoosh, he once again pounced on Xiao Chen. This time, Lu Jianbiao did not hold back and used his unique skill, Fierce Leopard Lightning Fist. His whole body was like a flying man in the air, his hands interlocked to form a big fist, and his whole body flew horizontally towards Xiao Chen. Martial arts. Xiao Chen could not help but smile bitterly. As a martial artist, most of them practiced martial arts. In fact, it was the same as the martial arts manuals in martial arts novels. In many cases, just having inner strength without paying attention to martial arts and fighting methods would greatly reduce one's strength. Right now, Xiao Chen was like this. As a cultivator, Xiao Chen had not practiced any martial arts. The moves he used were just some of the simple moves in the martial arts beginner's fist technique, all of which were firm and fierce. They were not like Lu Jianbiao's current awesome, gorgeous, and varied moves. Xiao Chen frowned. Lu Jianbiao's move really made him unable to find a way to deal with it for a while. Previously, when Lu Jianbiao rushed over, Xiao Chen could meet him head-on, but now, even if he wanted to meet him head-on, it would be difficult. Lu Jianbiao's whole body was flying horizontally with his fists in front of him. It was very difficult for Xiao Chen to cross his fists and hit his head and body. And if Xiao Chen was hit by this heavy punch, he would definitely not be in a good situation. Therefore, Xiao Chen simply stopped fighting and quickly ran to the side. Lu Jianbiao did not expect Xiao Chen to suddenly run away. He was in the air and could not change the direction of his attack. He was not a bird that could turn, so he could only watch as Xiao Chen slipped away. He really did not have a single move. This strike that he was proud of was always successful when he was fighting in the underground boxing arena, but it was not suitable here. When fighting in the underground boxing ring, because the size of the ring was limited, the opponent generally had no way to escape when they were forced into a corner. No one could directly jump off the ring, which was equivalent to admitting defeat. But now, the situation was different. Xiao Chen ran away. Lu Jianbiao gloomily crawled to the ground. He had swooped over, so there was no possibility of his feet landing first. Bang! Just as Lu Jianbiao was about to pounce, Xiao Chen, who had just run to the side, suddenly turned around and came back. He was like a ghost as he abruptly extended his leg and kicked Lu Jianbiao's anus. Forgive Xiao Chen. Although he preferred to use this trick, it was really not intentional this time. Xiao Chen turned around and saw Lu Jianbiao's butt, so he kicked it out. Ouch! Lu Jianbiao let out a blood-curdling screech. Xiao Chen's move could be said to be vicious and ruthless. Lu Jianbiao only felt that his hemorrhoids, which had not appeared for many years, suddenly broke out. He was once again sent flying in the air by Xiao Chen's kick. He flew 4 to 5 meters in the air before landing heavily on the ground. Being able to become young Master Jin's bodyguard, Lu Jianbiao was also a capable person. Whether it was endurance or strength, they were not weak. Although at this moment, he felt that his anus did not belong to him, he still endured the pain and quickly climbed up from the ground. If he was kicked by Xiao Chen again, his intestines would probably be kicked out. Peak of Stage 4 Inner Force? You are also at the peak of Stage 4 Inner Force? Lu Jianbiao's eyes were filled with disbelief. That kick from Xiao Chen made him feel Xiao Chen's true strength. Previously, he thought that Xiao Chen was just an ordinary person who knew how to show off. Taking advantage of the time when he was talking to Xiao Chen, Lu Jianbiao took out a small pill from his pocket and stuffed it directly into his mouth. This was a golden injury pill, which had a very good effect of stopping bleeding, pain, and healing injuries. It was only sold in the warrior guild's market, and the price was not cheap. If it was not for the serious injury this time, Lu Jianbiao could not bear to eat it. This was something that he had accumulated for a long time to exchange for, and he used it just like that. You know too much. Xiao Chen was stunned. When he saw Lu Jianbiao take the pill, he knew that he was stalling for time. Xiao Chen was a little regretful. He did not have enough combat experience, and let the enemy have a chance to breathe. Xiao Chen did not hesitate and rushed towards Lu Jianbiao again. His whole body jumped up, and his feet kicked towards Lu Jianbiao's chest in the air. Taking advantage of your weakness, this was the tactic that Xiao Chen wanted. However, Xiao Chen still missed a good opportunity. If he had taken advantage of the moment when Lu Jianbiao landed again, he was afraid that Lu Jianbiao would have been knocked down. Even if he did not die, his injuries would be more serious. Heh. The pain in Lu Jianbiao's anus had weakened a lot. He smiled, stretched out his right arm, and bent his fingers. Suddenly, he buckled the ankle joint on Xiao Chen's foot. Pa! Xiao Chen wanted to dodge, but it was too late. His left foot had been buckled by Lu Jianbiao, and he could not move. The joints were generally the most vulnerable parts of the human body, even for a martial artist. Xiao Chen wanted to break free, but the opponent's strength was not weaker than his. The strength of the two could be said to be almost the same. And Lu Jianbiao was obviously ruthless. In order to take revenge for the kick just now, he ruthlessly pinched Xiao Chen's ankle bone, and suddenly exerted force. Gotcha! Chapter 169. With a crisp sound, Xiao Chen's ankle bone was crushed by Lu Jianbiao. Beads of sweat instantly fell from Xiao Chen's forehead. It was so king painful. Xiao Chen hadn't had this feeling for a very long time. He remembered the last time he felt this way was on his 16th birthday. Because he still couldn't cultivate inner force, Xiao Chen fiercely trained in the training room non-stop. Punching. Xiao Chen's arm swelled, but he did not care. He continued training until he broke his arm with 1-inch punch. The piercing pain brought Xiao Chen back to reality from his demon barrier. At that time, he had to accept the fact that he couldn't cultivate inner force. After such a long time, Xiao Chen didn't expect that his bone would break again, and this time, it was at the hands of a martial artist at the peak of stage 4 inner force. This was unimaginable in the past. Xiao Chen could fight with a martial artist at the peak of stage 4 inner force. It was good enough to fight with a martial artist at the peak of stage 4. Boss. Zhu Yingxiong's face suddenly turned pale. When he found out that Xiao Chen was actually a martial artist at the peak of stage 4 inner force, Zhu Yingxiong was very excited. So, Xiao Chen had been hiding his strength all this time. He was actually a martial artist at the peak of stage 4 inner force. However, before he could be happy for a few seconds, Xiao Chen's foot was grabbed by Lu Jianbiao, and then, his ankle bone was crushed. Looking at Xiao Chen's painful expression, Zhu Yingxiong was also in extreme pain. However, he had no other way. He was only a martial artist at stage 1 inner force. In front of a martial artist at the peak of stage 4 inner force, he was just cannon fodder. This was the second time today that Xiao Chen stood up for Zhu Yingxiong, which made Zhu Yingxiong extremely touched. In the past, although he called Xiao Chen boss, it was only because he played with Xiao Chen, not because he worshipped Xiao Chen. To be honest, it was precisely because Xiao Chen had taken care of him in the past that Zhu Yingxiong had been acting as Xiao Chen's underling with the mentality of repaying the debt of gratitude. In reality, after Zhu Yingxiong's Zhu family had risen in status, there was really nothing that Xiao Chen could do to help Zhu Yingxiong. However, Zhu Yingxiong was a person who valued friendship and never abandoned her. But today, for the first time, Zhu Yingxiong felt that Xiao Chen was protecting him. It was like that in the martial artists' market, and it was also like that now. Therefore, Zhu Yingxiong couldn't care less. So what if they were cannon fodder? If he could save Xiao Qin, he would be cannon fodder, then so be it. Stop. If you let him go, I'm willing to go with you. How you want to deal with him, it's up to young Master Jin. Zhu Yingxiong shouted at Lu Jianbiao. Finally compromised. You're not going to act tough in front of me? Lu Jianbiao listened to Zhu Yingxiong's words and laughed. Let him go? Okay, as you wish. As soon as Lu Jianbiao's voice fell, his arms shook and suddenly spun in the air. His inner force suddenly burst out, and in an instant, Xiao Qin flew out and fell heavily on the ground in the distance. Bang! Xiao Qin lay on the ground like a dead dog, twitched twice on the ground, and did not get up again. Boss! Zhu Yingxiong screamed and quickly ran toward Xiao Qin, trying to help him up from the ground. The bones in his feet are broken. It would be strange if he could stand up. Lu Jianbiao sneered sarcastically. The depression in his heart from being kicked in the eye was finally vented at this moment. He was injured in the flesh, but Xiao Qin was injured in the bones. A martial artist's greatest taboo was to injure the muscles and bones. The flesh could be recovered through recuperation and pills, but once the muscles and bones were damaged, it was not something that could be cured by pills. Even if the muscles and bones were recovered, their strength would be greatly reduced. Therefore, in Lu Jianbiao's view, even if Xiao Qin was crippled, even if he recovered in the future, it would be impossible for him to have his current strength. When Lin Kuer saw Xiao Qin being flung away, she almost cried out in shock. She hurriedly used her hand to cover her mouth tightly, not daring to make a single sound. She finally understood why these people came here. It turned out to be a fight. However, they were too ruthless in fighting, and they did not consider the consequences at all. What if someone died? I already said that I will go back with you and let young Master Jin punish me. Kill me or cut me up, there is absolutely no hesitation. Why did you still hit the boss so hard? Zhu Yingxiong stared at Lu Jianbiao angrily. You said it, how I let him go is my business. Do I have to listen to your command? Lu Jianbiao looked at Zhu Yingxiong mockingly. Your *T boss is not weak, but your combat experience is too weak. I used a little trick and crippled him. Actually, if he had kicked me in the head when I was pinching his ankle, I would have definitely let him go. You. Although Zhu Yingxiong was annoyed, he also knew that he was not an opponent, so he could only sigh. You let him go, I will go with you. That's not impossible, but I will give you a mission first. Lu Jianbiao said. What mission? Zhu Yingxiong asked. You go and catch that chick named Kerlin for me. I want to bring her back for young Master Jin to play with. Lu Jianbiao said to Zhu Yingxiong, young Master Jin wants to play with that chick to death in front of you. Don't you want to protect her? Didn't you beat young Master Jin for her? Very good. Kerlin, who was hiding behind the door, was shocked at this moment. She never thought that today's incident was actually caused by her. The cause was that Zhu Yingxiong wanted to protect her and offended someone called young Master Jin. Now, young Master Jin's underlings came to find trouble. As for why Zhu Yingxiong wanted to protect her, Kerlin also guessed that it must be because of Xiao Qin. He got injured because of me? At this moment, the way Kerlin looked at Xiao Qin changed. She wanted to run out and see how Xiao Qin was, but she didn't dare. She was afraid that her appearance would make things worse. Sure enough, Zhu Yingxiong's face also changed. His eyes were a little complicated, not knowing if he should agree to this request. With Zhu Yingxiong's strength, finding Kerlin's residence and taking her away was a piece of cake. However, Kerlin was the person Xiao Qin wanted to protect. How could he push Kerlin into the fire pit just to save Xiao Qin? Wouldn't Xiao Qin be injured for nothing? Don't agree to him. At this time, Xiao Qin suddenly spoke. It wasn't that Xiao Qin didn't speak before, but he was constantly using the mantra to mobilize the vitality in his body to repair his injured ankle. Vitality, it was such a waste of vitality. Xiao Qin had an urge to cry. The vitality that he had cultivated for the past few days was all used. If it wasn't used on racing cars, it was used on fruits and food, and now it was used to heal his injury. Xiaochen felt that his vitality had returned to the starting point of the 4th level of the qi refinement stage. He had cultivated for nothing. However, the vitality was worth it. After Xiaochen repaired his injured ankle, he opened his mouth and said to Zhu Yingxiong, "Oh. He's not dead and can still speak." Lu Jianbiao was very angry at Xiaochen's rebuttal. He thought that Xiaochen had already fainted, but he didn't expect him to still be able to speak. "Kid, since you're so nosy, I can only take care of you first." Lu Jianbiao also saw Zhu Yingxiong's hesitation. As long as Xiaochen was here, Zhu Yingxiong had no idea and had to consult Xiaochen. Therefore, Lu Jianbiao decided to get rid of this nosy person. He walked step by step in the direction of Xiaochen with a cruel grin on the corner of his mouth. When he fought with Xiaochen before, he was at a disadvantage at the beginning, so now that he had the upper hand, he naturally didn't want to let Xiaochen go easily. "Don't come over." Zhu Yingxiong was a little anxious. Xiaochen was already injured. If he was hit by Lu Jianbiao again, could he still survive? Moreover, although Zhu Yingxiong looked stupid, his IQ was not stupid. He also saw that Lu Jianbiao wanted to cut the weeds and eliminate the roots. If Zhu Yingxiong could make Lu Jianbiao obey him with one sentence, then he wouldn't be Lu Jianbiao. "Fox Mask, are you feeling indignant right now?" Lu Jianbiao didn't even look at Zhu Yingxiong. He walked directly in front of Xiaochen and said, "I know you are unwilling, but if I were you, I can only accept my fate. My skills are not as good as others, so I can die without regrets." "Is that so?" Xiaochen's voice was weak. "Whether it is or not, you can think about it in your next life." As he said that, Lu Jianbiao raised his leg and prepared to step on Xiaochen's head. However, just as Lu Jianbiao raised his leg, Xiaochen, who was originally lying on the ground, suddenly jumped up and kicked Lu Jianbiao's chest. Bang! With a muffled sound, Lu Jianbiao's whole body flew out, and the foot that kicked him was the left foot of Xiaochen that he had previously crippled. Lu Jianbiao's eyes flashed a touch of horror and disbelief. How was this possible? How could a foot that was crippled kick someone? If Xiaochen had used his right foot, Lu Jianbiao could still reluctantly accept it. But now it was changed to his left foot, which was not logical at all. Because this foot was personally crushed by him, the sound of bones breaking, Lu Jianbiao heard it clearly, but the incredible thing happened just like that. Lu Jianbiao felt like his chest was hit by a big stone, and at this moment, it was a little difficult to breathe. He fell heavily on the ground, gasping for breath. His mouth and nose, along with his breathing, began to overflow with blood foam. Obviously, Lu Jianbiao had suffered a serious internal injury. This kick of Xiaochen was driven with all his strength. It would be strange if Lu Jianbiao could feel better after being kicked. This time, Xiaochen did not make the same mistake. Instead, he chased Lu Jianbiao to the place where he landed, raised his left foot again, and suddenly stepped on his chest. Puff! Lu Jianbiao was stepped on by Xiaochen until he spat out a mouthful of blood. His eyes were filled with deep unwillingness and doubt, and he said weakly, It's impossible that you are not injured." "Who are you?" "Let me die knowing." "You don't know?" "You were right from the beginning, I am that useless Xiaochen." Xiaochen's foot pressed hard on Lu Jianbiao's chest, causing Lu Jianbiao to spit out a mouthful of blood. Chapter 170. Xiaochen. Ha. It's really you. Lu Jianbiao's eyes bulged. After hearing Xiaochen's words, he was stunned for a moment before bursting into laughter. The trash of the Xiao family. Turns out to be an expert. The children of big families are indeed not simple. Cough cough. Pfft. Lu Jianbiao spat out a mouthful of blood and was stomped to death by Xiaochen. However, he died in peace. He knew that he had died in the hands of Xiaochen. This useless young master that he had looked down on after his investigation had actually become his king of hell. "Boss, he's dead?" Zhu Yingxiong saw that Xiao Chen had suddenly turned defeat into victory and was immediately overjoyed. Boss is awesome, just one move and this guy died. Bah, who asked you to find trouble with me? Who asked you to have evil thoughts about sister-in-law? Are you dead? It was just a narrow victory. Xiao Chen was not proud of killing a stage 4 pinnacle inner force martial artist. He knew his own strength. He could only win because he had caught Lu Jianbiao off guard. Lu Jianbiao thought that Xiao Chen could no longer stand up, so he let his guard down. He was so close to Xiao Chen and was ambushed by Xiao Chen. He did not expect that Xiao Chen's crippled left leg could still kick with such strength. What Xiao Chen lacked was actual combat experience and martial arts techniques. However, Xiao Chen was not sure if cultivators had martial arts techniques. If that was not possible, he would have to practice martial arts techniques. However, Xiao Chen's body could not produce inner force, only yuan qi. He did not know if it would be effective when used with martial arts techniques. As for the lack of actual combat experience, this could not be rushed. He could only make up for it through trial missions. Xiao Chen came to the warrior guild to accept missions, one for money, and another to train himself. No matter what, as long as you won. Zhu Yingxiong heaved a sigh of relief and said, damn it, if I knew you were so awesome, I wouldn't have run away. I was scared to death. What do we do with this body? Xiao Chen asked, pointing at Lu Jianbiao on the ground. It's dark, and the ghosts are here. I'll dig a hole and bury them. Zhu Yingxiong shrugged indifferently. I'll just drag them back and bury them. All right, then you can take him back. I'll leave first, Xiao Chen said. Then I won't be seeing you off. Zhu Yingxiong's car was pulling a corpse, and Xiao Chen had nowhere else to sit. Zhu Yingxiong quickly threw Lu Jianbiao's body into the car, but when he saw the Lexus LX 570, he asked, Boss, what should we do with this car? Do you have any channels to sell it for money? Xiao Chen asked. This car doesn't have any paperwork. It's not easy to sell it. Zhu Yingxiong shook his head. Although this car can be sold for more than $1 million, it can only be sold for a few $100,000 without paperwork. It's not worth it. It's better to keep it for yourself. I'll give you the Zhu family's license plate. That's fine. Xiao Chen thought that he couldn't always drive Jean Bei's car. This off-road vehicle was quite convenient, so he could drive it first. Anyway, the car's retention rate was very high. That young Master Jean wouldn't be able to find out anything even if he investigated. At most, he would think that Lu Jianbiao was killed by the Zhu family. The two of them quickly drove away from the place in a car. In a bungalow not far away, the door opened with a creak. Lin suddenly collapsed on the ground. Her face was pale, and her head was covered in cold sweat. She was still trembling all over. It had never occurred to her that Xiao Chen would kill someone. How could a weak girl like Lin accept it when she saw Xiao Chen trample a man to death with her own eyes? Lin also knew that the man was not a good person. Her family's young master Jean conspired against her and was beaten by Zhu Yingxiong. Then he came to take revenge and was killed by Xiao Chen. He deserved it. However, it was a murder after all. Xiao Chen did it very easily. After that, he drove the dead man's car away without a care at all. Was he a murderous devil? Although Lin was grateful to Xiao Chen and Zhu Yingxiong, when she thought of him, the scene where Xiao Chen trampled Lu Jianbiao to death lingered in her mind. She couldn't get it out of her mind. If he asked me to do something, and I didn't agree, would he kill me too? Lin Kuer felt that it was so terrifying, so scary. The cold ground made Lin sober up a lot. Her eyes flashed a touch of confusion. She and Xiao Chen seemed to be people from two different worlds. She didn't understand the life of his aristocratic family at all. Perhaps, at the level of aristocratic families, fighting and death were common, but Lin Kuer really could not accept it. She did not know how to face Xiao Chen. That hot-blooded Xiao Chen who was frying youtiao was actually such a person in the dark. He might not be Xiao Chen. Was he an imposter? Otherwise, why would he wear a mask? Lin thought so. Stumbling back home, Lin Kur hoped that what happened today was just a dream. Otherwise, it would be hard for her to connect the person wearing a fox mask with the person who cooked in Tang Tang's house during the day. Stupid girl, I thought you were kidnapped. I was so worried that I was about to go look for you with your father. What are you dilly-dallying for? After returning home, Mother Lin angrily scolded Lin Kur. I fell. Lin just sat on the ground, so there was some mud on her pants. Really, you can fall on this road every day. Mother Lin complained, what else can you do? Forget it. It's dark here. It's normal to fall. Lin Dongliang said with a smile, Cougar, go do your homework. Take off your clothes and pants later. Dad will wash them for you. You spoil her. Mother Lin snorted and said no more. She's a child. Lin Dongliang laughed. Oh. Lin Kur responded and hurriedly ran back to her room to change her clothes. During the day, Jean Bebe wanted to drive the Panamera to the Porsche 4S shop for repair. However, after she got in the car, she started it for a long time but failed to drive it away. The gas meter was empty, and the engine could not be started at all. What? Why is the car out of gas? Why? Jean Bebe looked around, but still could not start the engine. Is it possible that the last drop of gas was used up by Xiao Chen here? Cheng Menjing thought for a while and said, otherwise, why didn't he drive to buy medicine yesterday? You're right. Maybe. Jean Bebe had no choice but to call the 4S shop and ask them to send a tow truck. The car was taken away for repair, but Jean Bebe didn't care. In the evening, the 4S shop called and said that the car was repaired and Jean Bebe could drive it. Therefore, Jean Bebe drove the Porsche 991 to pick up the Panamera with Cheng Menjing. Normally, it would take quite a few days to repair a car. However, Jean Bebe was a member of the Jean family. Therefore, the 4S shop fixed the car for her as quickly as possible. If it was towed here in the morning, it could be picked up at night. Thankfully, the Panamera was a Porsche that had a relatively large market share. It had a complete set of accessories. I won't go in. I'll wait for you outside. Cheng Menjing was not very interested in cars. Therefore, when they arrived at the Porsche, she asked Jean Bebe to pick up the car herself. When Jean Bebe entered the maintenance workshop of the 4S shop, she saw that her luxurious car was glittering and parked in the parking space. Obviously, it had been renewed. Wow. It's finally fixed. Jean Bebe went to test the car in delight, while the maintenance manager followed Jean Bebe carefully. Miss Jean, are you satisfied with it? Yes. Jean Bebe touched the luxurious car. She could not tell that it had been repaired at all. Right, is the gas tank full? Is the auxiliary gas tank filled? The gas tank is full, but the auxiliary gas tank. Miss Jean, there's no auxiliary gas tank in this car, the maintenance manager asked, finding it odd. Why not? I've modified the auxiliary gas tank. You didn't steal it, did you? Jean Bebe demanded angrily. Miss Jean, there really is no auxiliary gas tank in this car. Take a look if you don't believe me. The chassis of this car is low, and there is no place to install the auxiliary gas tank, unless it is installed in the back seat. However, your back seat is intact. How can you install an auxiliary gas tank? The maintenance manager explained with a bitter face. There was no telling who had told the young lady that the Panamera had an auxiliary gas tank. There isn't. Jean Bebe was slightly dazed. Then, she thought of something and asked, then, is there any gasoline left in the previous tank? No. The tank was pierced through by a hard iron ball from the side and pierced through from the bottom. The oil has all flowed away along the chassis. It's impossible for there to be any gasoline left. The maintenance manager said. Also, the oil circuit of the car has not been modified. Even if there is an auxiliary gas tank, it is still unusable. I see. Jean Bebe nodded. Holy sh*t. My cousin-in-law is truly a transformer. What did you say, Miss Jean? The maintenance manager asked in confusion. Nothing. I said, that's all. Jean Bebe took the car key and drove away. After all, the maintenance fee had been paid with Qin Jinpeng's voucher. When Xiao Qin returned home, he happened to see Jean Bebe and Qing Menjing driving home, too. Seeing that Jean Bebe's car had been repaired, Xiao Qin suddenly thought of something. The auxiliary gas tank yesterday was just nonsense. The car did not have an auxiliary gas tank at all. Now that Jean Bebe had gone to repair the car, wasn't it? Transformer brother-in-law, you're back. Jean Bebe had added the word transformer to Xiao Chen's address. The meaningful address gave Xiao Chen quite a shock. It seemed that Jean Bebe must have known about the auxiliary gas tank. Xiao Chen nodded and asked, yes, I'm back. Has your car been repaired? Yes, I'm back. Jean Bebe looked at Xiao Chen and blinked. Cousin-in-law, where did you get your car? Is it your kind of Autobots? Does it need gasoline? Seeing that Jean Bebe was talking nonsense, Qing Menjing said, Bebe, what are you talking about? Transformers and Autobots? Also, what does a car need if not gasoline? Chapter 171. We still have the electric car. Jean Bebe said. Although Jean Bebe explained it to him, Xiao Chen was still a bit scared. It seemed that Jean Bebe had really found out something, but she did not say it out. Have you had dinner? I'll go cook. Xiao Chen went to make food directly, avoiding talking to Jean Bebe just in case. You still know to ask us if we have had dinner? Qing Menjing was angry when she talked about eating. There is nothing at home, and you went out. Luckily, Bebe was at home. We drove to eat. If I were alone at home, I would have been starved to death by you. Luckily, my family broke off the engagement with you. If I were married to you, I would have had to practice in India. Xiao Chen was speechless. I'll be more careful next time. I'll make delicious food for you before I leave. Humph. That's more like it. I'll forgive you this time. Go and make more delicious food for me. Qing Menjing was quite satisfied with Xiao Chen's good attitude. Xiao Chen set the electric pot to automatically boil and then went to the kitchen to cook. In fact, there were vegetables, meat, and eggs in the kitchen. It was just that neither Qing Menjing nor Jean Bebe knew how to cook. After the meal, Xiao Chen went back to his room to take medicine and exercise, while Qing Menjing and Jean Bebe went upstairs. Before they went upstairs, Jean Bebe glanced at Xiao Chen thoughtfully, which made Xiao Chen feel creeped out. This girl must have known something about him, but she did not say it out. Therefore, Xiao Chen did not know what she meant. However, the more she did that, the more Xiao Chen felt that Jean Bebe knew a lot. However, since Jean Bebe did not say it out, nor did she tell Qing Menjing, Xiao Chen was happy to pretend that nothing had happened. The night passed uneventfully. The next day, Xiao Chen woke up earlier than usual. After cooking porridge for Qing Menjing and Jean Bebe, he rushed to Tang Tang's house. Xiao Chen's sudden appearance startled Tang Tang, who was washing her face and rinsing her mouth. Why did you come so early and come to my house? Last night, Xiao Chen wanted to see Tang Tang, but because of Lu Jianbiao's incident, it was late, so Xiao Chen didn't go. So he came earlier the next day to see if Tang Tang was okay. Have you recovered from your illness? Xiao Chen reached out to touch Tang Tang's forehead. After a night of calmness, Xiao Chen had returned to the casual attitude between brothers. Of course. My physique is very good. Tang Tang said, if I hadn't been sick and couldn't practice, would have been a warrior at least at the 3rd level of the internal force. I almost reached the 1st level before. Well, you are a strong woman. Xiao Chen said, I am relieved that you are fine. Let's go to the morning street together. Tang Tang finished washing up quickly. The two of them took the things from the youtiao stall and went to the morning street. The busy morning began again. But to Tang Tang and Xiao Chen's surprise, Lin did not come today. When it was almost time for school, Lin did not come to deliver the noodles or buy the youtiao. So Tang Tang said, Xiao Chen, why don't you go and see what happened to Lin? I don't want her to catch a cold because I infected her yesterday. Okay, I'll go and see. Xiao Chen took some youtiao and a big bowl of soy milk. He went to the noodle stall of Lin's home. Seeing Lin Kuer's busy figure from afar, Xiao Chen heaved a sigh of relief. Perhaps it was because business was good today and she couldn't leave. Xiao Chen quickly walked over. Lin Kuer. Ah. When Lin heard the voice, she was shocked. The scene of last night came to her mind again. The beef noodle in her hand fell to the ground with a bang. You wicked girl, are you looking for trouble? Mother Lin saw Lin throw a bowl of noodles on the ground. She was very angry and said, clean it up quickly. Ah, okay. Lin Kuer hurriedly nodded. Xiao Chen did not expect that when he called Lin spilled the noodles. He felt a little sorry in his heart. He quickly walked over and put the youtiao and soy milk on the empty table. Then he squatted down and said, let me help you. Ah. When Lin saw Xiao Chen coming over, she seemed to be shocked. Her body flashed back. As a result, she was unstable and fell to the ground. The pants that Lin Dongliang had washed for her yesterday were full of soup on the noodles. Xiao Chen was stunned. He was very puzzled as to why Lin Kuer had such a big reaction. He hurriedly wanted to go over and help her up, but Lin Kuer suddenly stood up, looked at Xiao Chen, and said while trembling with fear, I'm fine, it's not your fault, this child, is there something wrong with her? Mother Lin knew Xiao Chen. When she saw him send the youtiao, she was very happy, but Lin's reaction today made her feel very annoyed. What's wrong with this girl? Since she fell down last night, she has been a little absent-minded. She even talked nonsense in her dreams at night. Something like don't kill me, etc. Is she possessed? Maybe it's because I called out to her and distracted her. Xiao Chen quickly cleaned up the noodles on the ground and said apologetically, this is the youtiao and soy milk that I sent for you. Eat it while it's hot. If there's nothing else, I'll go first. Kuer, why don't you cook noodles for your classmate? Mother Lin urged. Although she liked to take advantage of others, she also knew that if she didn't return the favor, then she could only take advantage once or twice. Ah, okay. Although Lin was afraid of Xiao Chen, her mother ordered her to do it. She couldn't do it. Moreover, she didn't dare to tell the truth. She could only bite the bullet and say to Xiao Chen nervously, then, you wait. I'm going to cook noodles, no, I won't eat. Xiao Chen smiled. I'm also closing up the stall. I'm going to school. That's fine. Tomorrow, let Kuer send you the noodles. Mother Lin saw that Xiao Chen insisted on refusing, so she didn't persuade him again. Xiao Chen nodded and left quickly. Lin looked at his back and suddenly breathed a sigh of relief. On his way back, Xiao Chen passed by a messaging store. He suddenly remembered that the SIM card he had left behind at the Warrior Guild was the one he had bought later on. Since his phone could only be inserted with one card, Xiao Chen decided to buy another phone. The messaging store was empty in the morning. The boss sat in front of the counter and played with his phone. When he saw Xiao Chen coming in, he nodded to him. What do you want to buy? Is there an iPhone with dual card and dual standby? Xiao Chen thought about it and asked. He was using an iPhone now. If he suddenly changed to a phone, he was afraid that people would be suspicious. In fact, Xiao Chen was too cautious. However, there was no harm in being careful. Xiao Chen's current situation didn't allow him to be careless. Oh, there is. It's a knockoff. The boss took out 4 or 5 iPhones from the counter and said to Xiao Chen, how much do you want? From 300 to more than 1,000. The appearance is similar. The difference is the processor and flash memory. It's fine as long as it can be used. Xiao Chen chose the cheapest one. He just made a phone call and didn't play games. It didn't matter if it was expensive or cheap. The main thing he wanted was to have dual card and dual standby. Oh, then this one. 380. The boss handed the cheapest one to Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen roughly looked at it. If there was no problem, he paid the money. Then, he took out his own phone and took out the SIM card from it. He also took out the card that he bought in the morning market. Both cards were stuffed into the knockoff phone. Originally, the boss thought that the one that Xiao Chen used before was also broken. However, while Xiao Chen was testing the phone, he picked up Xiao Chen's previous phone and looked at it. He found that it was actually a real iPhone. He was speechless. I say, buddy, your phone is a real iPhone. Why did you change it to a fake one? Isn't there no dual card and dual standby? Xiao Chen said. The boss really didn't understand Xiao Chen's approach. Since you are so rich, you can buy a high-end phone with dual card and dual standby. Why do you have to use a knockoff Apple? Not long after leaving the communications shop, Xiao Chen's phone rang with a text message notification. Xiao Chen quickly took out his phone. He was afraid that the person who posted the mission had contacted him. He had forgotten about it after he went back yesterday. After clicking to read, Xiao Chen realized that the person who sent the text message wasn't the person who posted the mission, but the rich woman who was looking for the dog last time. Moreover, she sent more than one message. White Fox Hero, you didn't turn on your phone. Please reply when you turn on your phone. I have something to ask of you. White Fox Hero, I am a customer who helped you find the dog. Please reply if you have anything. The following messages were similar. Xiao Chen was a little speechless. He didn't expect that he would have a repeat customer. He hadn't looked at the SIM card since he took it out. Xiao Chen clicked to return the call. Since there were so many messages, he couldn't just ignore them. After all, the rich woman's dog finding fee had helped Xiao Chen a lot. White Fox Hero. You finally replied. That's great, that's great. As soon as the phone was connected, the rich woman's excited voice came. It's me. I'm sorry. I accepted a mission before, so I couldn't turn on my phone. Xiao Chen said, I just saw your text message. It's okay. It's good that I found you. The rich woman said, this is the case. My sister-in-law's child was stolen. Detective White Fox Hero, you are so powerful. Can you help me find it? Child? Stolen? Xiao Chen was stunned. It's not a kidnapping, right? This rich woman was so rich. Her sister-in-law was probably rich too. It was very likely that the child was kidnapped. It shouldn't be. It has been 3 days, and no one has contacted us. If it is really a kidnapping, then my sister-in-law has paid. You know, our family is not short of money, but the key is that there is no news now. The rich woman said, I don't know if White Fox Hero can help. We can discuss the reward. Let's meet at noon today. You tell me the details of the matter. I will see if I can accept it. Xiao Chen hesitated and didn't refuse. After all, he was short of money. If he could earn some money through this mission, it would be a good thing. Chapter 172. Okay. Where is it? Tell me a place, and I'll go to you, the rich woman said quickly. It's near Ningning No. 2 Middle School. Find a place and text me at noon. I'll go there, Xiao Chen said. Okay, that's a deal. I'll be waiting for you, Hero White Fox, the rich woman said. When they returned to the Youtiao stall, Tang Tang had already packed up. They sent the things to the sundry goods store and went to school. They walked together, but they met a person who made Xiao Chen feel complicated. That person was his sister, Xiao Xiao. Qing Mingxiang, Qing Menjing's cousin, and Qi Zhigao surrounded Xiao Xiao on both sides. Xiao Xiao was like a proud princess. She ignored them and walked quickly to school. Xiao Qin could not help but sigh softly when he saw this. Before marriage, women from big families were pursued by the young men from those aristocratic families. But once they got married, they would become a bird in a cage, a canary. They would no longer be as proud as they used to be, and a tragic life in a noble family would begin from then on. It was inevitable. In big families, women were always vassals. Jean Bebe might be the exception among the exceptions. Compared to Qing Mingxiang, Xiao Qin thought Qi Zhigao was more suitable for Xiao Xiao. This boy liked her without any ulterior motives. He had been pursuing Xiao Xiao since he was young, but Qing Mingxiang, who appeared out of nowhere, had a purpose. Xiao Qin always felt that Qing Mingxiang had an ulterior motive. Xiao Qin saw Xiao Xiao, and Xiao Xiao naturally saw Xiao Qin too. Her expression changed slightly, but she pretended that she did not see him and quickened her pace. She was afraid that he would embarrass her. Xiao Qin shook his head in a self-deprecating manner. Seeing Xiao Zhao's expression change, Qing Mingxiang soon found out the reason. He stopped and said to Xiao Qin, "Isn't this my ex-brother-in-law? But after you were dumped by my sister, you seem to have a unique taste. Do you want this kind of trash? Watch your mouth. Don't get yourself into trouble." Xiao Qin's eyes flashed with anger. However, he resisted the urge to kill Qing Mingxiang on the spot. For some reason, Xiao Qin found that he was getting angrier and angrier. In the past, Xiao Qin was a very patient person. However, ever since he killed Qin Jinkuan, Xiao Qin felt that he was a little irritable. This wasn't a good thing. Just like yesterday, when he faced Medicine Master's son, he was a little impulsive. Then, he vented all the anger that Medicine Master's son had not vented on Lu Jianbiao. Originally, he could have gotten more information about young Master Jin from Lu Jianbiao, but Xiao Qin decisively killed him. This kind of hostility came from the heart, which made it difficult for Xiao Qin to calm down in many situations. Trouble comes from the mouth? Qing Mingxiang smiled and turned to the frowning Xiao Xiao. "Xiao Xiao, did you see that? Your useless brother knows how to threaten people? I'd like to see what you can do to me if I say that Tang Tang is a pig today." Xiao Xiao pursed her lips and said, "Why do you have to lower yourself to his level? Do you think you're superior to an abandoned son of the Xiao family? What annoys me the most is to bully the weak to get a sense of existence. It's meaningless." This. Qing Mingxiang was stunned. After thinking about it carefully, he realized that it was true. He and a useless young master were abandoned by Qing Menjing's servants. What was there to show off? They really had nothing better to do. Thinking of this, Qing Mingxiang snorted and said, "I forgot that, Xiao Qin, you don't have the ability to challenge me anymore. I don't need to talk nonsense with you. Young Master Kun, you have to uphold justice for me." Xiao Qin suddenly waved his hand and stopped an Audi that was driving over. Yu Xiaochuan frowned when he saw Qi Zhigao. He thought that this guy didn't provoke Xiao Qin again, did he? This was the *TTY job he had to do every day. If it wasn't for breaking off the engagement with the Tang family, he wouldn't have to do this. "Oh, it's Xiao Qin. What's the matter?" Yu Xiaochuan got out of the car. "Young Master Kun, I finally fell in love with Tang Tang, but Qing Mingxiang said that she was a fat pig. How can I have the face to stay in the second high school in the future? I have to transfer." Xiao Qin said with a sad face, "He can insult my people and my name, but he can't insult my Tang Tang." Yu Xiaochuan really wanted to beat Qing Mingxiang up. Isn't he looking for trouble? You should be chasing after your Xiao Xiao. Why did you come here to find a sense of existence with Xiao Qin? However, Qing Mingxiang was the son of the first family in Songming City, the Qing family. Although Yu Xiaochuan was the leader of the younger generation, he still didn't dare to go too far in front of Qing Mingxiang. He could only say, "Qing Mingxiang, aren't your words a bit harsh? Tang Tang used to be my fiancé." "Why? Do you mean that I, Yu Xiaochuan, like pigs?" This. Qing Mingxiang was stunned. He didn't expect that Yu Xiaochuan would stand up for Xiao Qin. This Xiao Qin was really popular. There were people who protected him in the second high school. Although Yu Shaochuan's Yu family was not as strong as the Qing family, the rankings of these families changed. When they rose to the top in the future, it was uncertain what would happen. With Yu Shaochuan's ability, even if he didn't lead the families, he could still be on par with the Qing family. I'm just kidding. Qing Mingxiang took a deep breath. He had to lower his head when he was under someone else's roof. He was not a student of the second high school, but a junior high school student. He was unfamiliar with the second high school. It was not good to cause trouble without seeing the situation clearly. Qi Zhigao secretly cursed Qing Mingxiang for being an idiot. It was not a secret that he suffered losses in the hands of Xiao Qin. Qing Mingxiang still went to provoke Xiao Qin publicly. Wasn't he looking for trouble? If you really want to find trouble, why don't you do it behind my back? Qi Zhigao planned to do so. He was young and impetuous. He was humiliated by Xiao Qin. Although he didn't dare to make trouble because of Yu Shaochuan's pressure, he secretly prepared to make trouble for Xiao Qin. Otherwise, it would be difficult to relieve the hatred in his heart. When they went upstairs, Tang Tang said to Xiao Qin helplessly, I say, Xiao Qin, you are not the Xiao Qin of the past. Can't you bear it? Even if you scold me as a fat girl and a fat pig, I am used to it. I am really afraid that you will fight with him. If Xiao Qin and Qing Mingxiang became enemies, would it affect the relationship between Xiao Qin and him? Although Tang Tang didn't like Qing Menjing very much, for the sake of Xiao Qin, she didn't want Xiao Qin and Qing Mingxiang to be enemies. Don't you have a free bodyguard, Yu Shaochuan? Xiao Qin said with a smile, I saw his car, so I got mad. The first time he met Qi Zhigao, Xiao Qin saw Yu Shaochuan. Today, Xiao Qin really didn't see him, but in order not to worry Tang Tang, he lied. Is that so? Tang Tang believed it, and then she breathed a sigh of relief and said, but it is not worth it to offend people casually. If you offend those aristocratic children for me, they will find trouble with you. There are too many lice. Xiao Qin shrugged and said, forget it. It's okay. Go to class. The morning slipped away in a hurry. At noon, Xiao Qin greeted Tang Tang and went to a restaurant called Sakura Restaurant, near the second high school according to the text message sent by the rich woman. This was a relatively high-end restaurant nearby. The rich woman was not short of money. Since Xiao Qin limited the location to near the second high school, she could only choose this place. Xiao Qin, wearing a chef's suit and a white fox mask, came to the door of the Sakura restaurant. However, Xiao Qin's strange costume made the greeter at the door stunned. She didn't want to let him in. After all, what if other customers saw it and were scared? However, when they just wanted to stop him, the rich woman's driver, old Lu, came over quickly and respectfully said to Xiao Qin, Mr. White Fox, hello. Mrs. Wang is waiting for you upstairs. She asked me to welcome you here. The waiter shut up directly at this time. They saw what cars old Lu and his group drove. One was a Mercedes-Benz, and the other was a Rolls-Royce. Xiao Qin was their guest. How could they afford to offend him? Okay, please lead the way. Sorry to bother you. Xiao Qin didn't expect that Mrs. Wang actually sent her driver to wait downstairs. It seemed that Mrs. Wang's attitude toward him had changed after he helped her find the dog last time. Xiao Qin followed old Six all the way downstairs and came to the most high-end private room in the entire Sakura restaurant, rich and beautiful flowers. As soon as he entered the door, the rich woman he saw last time and a very haggard but beautiful middle-aged woman stood up together. The haggard woman saw Xiao Qin as if she saw hope. Master White Fox, please help me find my child. I beg you. I only had this child when I was 40 years old. I can't live without him. Ugh, this lady, don't be impatient. Xiao Qin wanted to call her auntie, but he gave up on it after thinking about it. His current identity and age were secrets. I will think of a way, but you have to maintain your emotions so that you can tell me the cause and effect. Sister-in-law, Detective White Fox is very powerful. Don't be agitated. Talk to him. He will definitely find my little nephew. The rich woman quickly comforted her. Okay. The haggard woman nodded, but looking at her emotions, it seemed that it was difficult to explain the problem. Let me say it. The rich woman sighed and said to Xiao Chen, this is what happened. It was the morning before yesterday. My sister-in-law drove my little nephew to the park to bask in the sun as usual. However, when she parked by the park, she suddenly heard a dong sound from the car. My sister-in-law thought that she had hit something, so she got out to check, but she didn't see anything. She only saw a mineral water bottle. It should have been thrown by someone and hit the car. So my sister-in-law subconsciously looked to see if her car was damaged. When she found that there was no problem, she returned to the car. However, my little nephew, who was in the car's safety seat, disappeared. It was just a few minutes. Chapter 173. In this case, it seems to be a premeditated crime. Xiao Chen smiled bitterly and said, have you offended anyone recently? My husband is doing business. It's inevitable to offend people. However, the other party stole my son, and there's no news about it. No one told us what they want to achieve, or if they want money. The haggard woman said anxiously. That basically eliminates the possibility of kidnapping for ransom. If the other party wants money, it's impossible for them to not contact you for so many days. Xiao Chen said, in this case, there are only the possibilities of kidnapping and revenge. However, Xiao Chen felt that the possibility of kidnapping was not high. After all, this woman's car should be a luxury car. Even if a human trafficker wanted to make a move, they wouldn't choose such a person. This kind of person was rich and powerful. If their child was lost, they would definitely search at all costs. The possibility of something happening to them was higher. Therefore, the possibility of revenge was very high. However, this woman's husband was a businessman. The business world was like a battlefield. He must have offended a lot of people. She didn't know, so it was more difficult for Xiao Chen to investigate. To be honest, this kind of aimless search without a goal was not something Xiao Chen was good at. The last time he found the dog, he completely relied on the six senses of a cultivator and found it by smell. However, it rained yesterday, so Xiao Chen couldn't rely on smell anymore. It rained yesterday. Some clues should have been destroyed. To be honest, your case is more difficult. I suggest you start with your nearest competitor. Xiao Chen suggested. Master White Fox, please help me. My husband is suspicious of everyone, but time waits for no man. My son hasn't been weaned yet. What if something happens to him? The haggard woman said anxiously. That's right. I'll try my best. Xiao Chen sighed. Parents in the world were always concerned about their children. Until now, Xiao Chen still remembered the excitement and anticipation in his father's eyes when he gave the body-tempering pill to him. Thank you, White Fox hero. The reward is negotiable. As long as you can find my nephew, I will give you 2 million. Is that okay? The rich woman said, in addition, we owe you a favor. If you need our help, I will never refuse. Okay, I'll try. 2 million was really a lot for Xiao Chen, so Xiao Chen planned to give it a try. Of course, he didn't have much confidence. He could only take one step at a time. Bring me the child's photo, the car, and the location. As for the favor, Xiao Chen didn't really care much. After all, it was useless to find this rich woman for something he couldn't handle in Songning City. Ordinary people couldn't participate in the family level. No problem, I've brought it. The rich woman handed a folder to Xiao Chen and said, the car is the Rolls-Royce sports car downstairs. The Rolls-Royce? Xiao Chen could not help but be slightly stunned. He really couldn't tell that this rich woman's sister-in-law was really rich. Although the Xiao family was a martial arts family, in terms of money, they had earned quite a lot in the past few years. However, even Xiao Chen didn't dare say that he could afford a Rolls-Royce sports car. This kind of sports car was custom-made and expensive. Even the descendants of aristocratic families would not be able to afford it. Pardon me for asking, but are you from Songning City? Xiao Chen had never seen such a Rolls-Royce sports car in Songning City. If this person was from Songning City, Xiao Chen would have heard of him before. No, I married into Songning City, but my brother and sister-in-law are in the provincial capital. The rich woman explained, we are from the provincial capital Xia family. Have you heard of us, White Fox hero? Provincial capital Xia family. Xiao Chen was shocked. As a member of the Xiao family, he naturally knew of the famous Xia family of the provincial capital. This family was not a martial arts family, but a business family. However, no one dared to underestimate them. This was because the Xia family was the medicinal ingredient supplier of the entire provincial martial arts market. In other words, they were the partners of the Hong Chamber of Commerce. Even if this family was not a martial arts family, it was still a powerful existence. Many of these families wanted to build a relationship with the Xia family. They wanted to build a relationship with the Warrior Guild or the Hong Chamber of Commerce through them. In the past, the Xiao family had tried every means possible to build a good relationship with the Xia family, but they had no way to do so. After all, if they could cooperate with the Xia family, not only would they have connections, but they would also have money. How could a martial arts family develop without money? However, the Xia family could let you participate in any business, and you could make a fortune. No wonder the rich woman said that she owed them a favor. She had the guts to say it out loud. I've heard of it. It's a big business. However, since you are from the Xia family, you shouldn't be looking for me, right? It would be easier to put pressure on the Warrior Guild or issue a trial mission, right? Xiao Chen was puzzled. The rich woman and the haggard woman were not surprised that Xiao Chen knew about the Warrior Guild. After all, Xiao Chen was also a very powerful person. It was not surprising that he knew about these things. It has been issued. However, the Warrior Guild is not good at this kind of mission to find people. Unless it's a stroke of luck, it is very difficult to find them. The rich woman smiled bitterly and explained, moreover, the place where the child went missing was in Songning City. My sister-in-law drove my little nephew here to see me. They will be sponsoring me here for a period of time. Xiao Chen nodded. It seemed that the scope of this mission was wider. Intuition told Xiao Chen that this mission would not be easy, so Xiao Chen did not stand on ceremony. He said, then, I will also accept the mission from the Warrior Guild. Is there a problem? Of course, there is no problem. The rich woman said, this is your extra reward. Okay, I will go back and study it. Xiao Chen put away the information. At this time, the food was also served. Xiao Chen was temporarily at ease to eat. The rich woman ate a few mouthfuls, but the haggard woman could not eat at all. She just looked at Xiao Chen expectantly, hoping that Xiao Chen could bring her a miracle. Xiao Chen ate for a while. He felt a little uncomfortable, so he took out the information and flipped through it. The haggard woman's son was not too old. He was only 1.5 years old. However, at this age, even if he was weaned, his life would not be in danger if he had other food to maintain. This made Xiao Chen feel relieved. As he continued to read, Xiao Chen found that the information was just some children's photos. There were no substantial clues. While you are eating, tell me about your suspect. Xiao Chen put down the information and said, if you don't tell the truth, then there is nothing I can do. Before, Xiao Chen did not know the identity of these two people. However, now that he knew, Xiao Chen felt that with the Xia family status, it was impossible that they did not know who the enemy was. There must be a suspect. If she did not say, there might be a reason behind it. However, it would increase the difficulty of Xiao Chen's investigation. The haggard woman hesitated, as if she did not know what to say. Sister-in-law, what is there to be embarrassed about? Since Hero White Fox asked you, just say it. The rich woman was impatient. Why don't I say it? Currently, the suspect is Medicine Master's son from the Warrior's Market. Medicine Master's son? Xiao Chen was stunned. Why was he involved? What was the benefit of Medicine Master's son kidnapping the Xia family's child? Actually, it is just a suspicion. The rich woman said, Medicine Master's son is actually a member of the Sun family from a neighboring city. The Sun family was originally a small family that relied on a small pharmaceutical business to survive. However, after the appearance of Medicine Master's son, an alchemist from the warrior's market, the Sun family began to rise rapidly. Now, they are no smaller than our Xia family. An alchemist can actually lead an entire family? Xiao Chen was a little surprised. This was too exaggerated. Under the influence of an alchemist, a small family was actually not weaker than the Xia family? That is for sure. Although our Xia family has connections, we do not have an alchemist. After all, we are outsiders, not insiders. If the insiders want to keep Medicine Master's son, it is impossible for them to not give him some benefits. The rich woman said, I heard that this year, the Sun family wants to become the exclusive raw material supplier of the Warriors Guild. However, our Xia family has a contract with the Warriors Guild. There are still 5 years left. If the Sun family wants to replace us, it is basically impossible unless they buy the supply rights from us. In that case, if it was really done by the Sun family, then why didn't they tell you? Xiao Chen was a little puzzled. If they told you that the child is in their hands, wouldn't it be easier for you to give up the supply rights for these 5 years? Mr. White Fox, you should know some things about the aristocratic families. The aristocratic families are restricted by the local Warriors Guild and the country's Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Although there are fights and deaths among the aristocratic families, it is always done under reasonable circumstances. Kidnapping is not something that can be put on the table. If this crime is proven, the Warriors Guild will not ignore it, even if Medicine Master's son is an alchemist there. The Warriors Guild must maintain the fairness of the major issues. The rich woman explained, that's why we suspect that Medicine Master's son took my nephew away to scare the Xia family. That's why we gave up our supply rights. Who knows, my nephew might have returned without anyone knowing. Isn't this also possible? I'd rather believe it than not. If you care about the child, what's wrong with giving up the supply rights for 5 years? Xiao Chen asked. Although my brother is the current young master of the Xia family, you should know that the young master is not the same as the head of the family. Even the head of the family cannot act arbitrarily. These 5 years of supply rights are related to the future development and survival of the Xia family. If we give it away so casually, what will happen to the Xia family? The rich woman shook her head and said helplessly, this is also the reason why we can only ask you, Hero White Fox. Chapter 174. Xiao Chen could not help but sigh. He thought of himself. Wasn't the Xiao family the same? In the face of the family's interests, they would still choose the family's interests, not an abandoned child. If the Xiao family was like this, then the Xia family would probably be the same. I will do my best. Xiao Chen did not dare to promise too much. After all, Xiao Chen was not 100% confident in this kind of thing. You should also prepare the information on the Sun family, right? Give it to me together. Here it is. The rich woman was a little embarrassed. She handed a file to Xiao Chen and said, White Fox Hero, I didn't mean to hide it. It's just that the Sun family is too involved, and I'm afraid that you will get involved. I took their money to help them avoid disasters. Xiao Chen took the file and looked through it. However, the information on the Sun family was about business. Xiao Chen did not have much use for it, so he simply closed the file and asked, I just want to know the overall strength of the Sun family. How many martial artists do they have, and what level are they? The Sun family's strength. They are very rich, but when it comes to martial artists, they don't have many. This is because they are the same as our Xia family, not a martial arts family. They don't have any martial artists, and only the 3rd generation started cultivating. So, the most powerful person in the Sun family is a Stage 6 Inner Force martial artist guard, and 2 Stage 5 Inner Force martial artist bodyguards. The rich lady said, however, Medicine Master's son has many experts around him. If the Sun family can successfully cooperate with the Warrior Guild, they will be able to come into contact with more martial artists. More martial artists will be willing to risk their lives for them. After all, there are benefits to following the Sun family. Just like our Xia family, we have gathered a group of martial artists. Stage 7. His strength is quite powerful. Xiao Chen hesitated. If it was around stage 5, he could still deal with it. However, he had no confidence in dealing with stage 7. However, this stage 7 inner force martial artist is the Sun family's main guard. He usually cultivates by himself. If you are careful, you can avoid him. The rich woman sighed. If our Xia family's martial artists take action, it won't be so troublesome. However, most of the Sun family know each other. If we really take action, it will be a fight to the death, and there will be endless trouble, I understand. Xiao Chen waved his hand. He did not care why the Xia family didn't take action. Since the rich woman had found him, he would naturally try his best. Since there was money to be made, he would naturally try his best. How about this? I will go to the Sun family tonight. If your nephew is really there, there must be some clues. I will find a way to rescue him. Thank you, White Fox Hero. The rich woman said gratefully. After lunch, Xiao Chen also took his leave. The information he could obtain here was really limited. Xiao Chen might as well investigate by himself at night. The last class of the night was a night self-study session. Xiao Chen applied for leave and left the school first. He told the eldest young mistress that he was going to buy medicinal herbs, and the eldest young mistress did not suspect anything. The Xiao Chen of the house. He of Chen and drove to the car. He of Chen of the car. However, when the car approached the Sun family, Xiao Chen was a little dumbfounded. The scale of the Sun family was no worse than those aristocratic families. In fact, the Sun family was no worse than the aristocratic families. It was even built more luxuriously. At the intersection of a road, they were separated. There were servants standing guard, but now that things had come to this, Xiao Chen had no choice. He could only pretend that he didn't see these servants and drove all the way in. However, what surprised Xiao Chen was that no one stopped him when he drove on this road. The guards just glanced at him and ignored him. They didn't stop Xiao Chen. This road was not short. Along the way, Xiao Chen was a little scared. He was afraid that he would be stopped midway. But what surprised Xiao Chen was that no one stopped him until the Sun family's manor appeared in front of him. In front of the manor, there were also guards patrolling. Xiao Chen still chose to force his way in because there was no place to hide. It was almost impossible to go to these big families alone. There was only one person or one car in the empty land. There was nowhere to hide. Even if Xiao Chen got out of the car, he would be discovered. So, Xiao Chen went all out and continued to drive into the manor. However, to Xiao Chen's surprise, no one stopped him this time. The guards also glanced at him and continued to patrol. Damn! Xiao Chen was completely shocked this time. Were these people blind or something? Or is the Sun family's security measures too weak? Anyone can come in. The patrolling guards are useless? No one questioned him, and no one stopped him. Xiao Chen parked the car in the parking lot. Then, he found a shadow and hid. Although Xiao Chen felt that these guards were a little unbelievable, he was not careless. After all, if he was really discovered, he would be dead. Although he was a cultivator at the 4th level of the Qi refinement stage, he could only be regarded as one of the best among the younger generation of the aristocratic families in Sonning City. In the eyes of the aristocratic families, he was still too weak. When the guards walked away and there was no one nearby, Xiao Chen began to act. The Sun family's manor was huge. Xiao Chen had used his divine sense and mental strength to sense the child's breath, but he found nothing. It seemed that he could only search slowly. This money was really not easy to earn. Fortunately, the sky was getting dark. Xiao Chen moved quickly along the shadows of the buildings in the manor. Those guards were obviously martial artists at the 1st level of the inner force. For Xiao Chen, it was a piece of cake. Avoiding them was like playing a game. Xiaochen walked all the way to a relatively luxurious standalone villa. The lights were on, so it was obvious that there was someone there. Furthermore, looking at how luxurious this place was, it should be someone important to the Sun family. Xiaochen planned to get some information from them. However, just as Xiaochen was about to enter the villa, he heard footsteps coming from not far away. Xiaochen quickly dodged into the flowers of the villa's garden and lay down. A person with an anxious expression walked quickly into the villa. He did not notice Xiaochen at all. When this person entered the villa, Xiaochen took a look. The door of the villa was actually fingerprint authentication. In other words, it was impossible for Xiaochen to open the door with his yuan qi. A mechanical door could be opened, but this was an electronic program. No matter how powerful Xiaochen's yuan qi was, it would be useless. When this person entered the villa, Xiaochen simply gave up the idea of entering from the main door. He jumped, and his whole person was like a lizard, climbing on the wall outside the villa. Now Xiaochen looked like Spider-Man. This was not a problem at all for Xiaochen, who was at the 4th level of the qi refinement stage. Even a martial artist at the 1st level of the inner force could do it. Outside the villa, it was not a smooth cliff. In order to look beautiful, the outside was uneven, which made it easy for Xiaochen to climb up. Following the voices inside, Xiaochen came to a lighted window. Although his current appearance was easy to be discovered if someone looked at him, after Xiaochen's observation, the Sun family's security work was really poor. These guards were almost useless. Of course, this was probably related to the Sun family being a business family. If it was a martial arts family, it would not be like this. "Ah, Duo, you're back. How's the matter? Is there any news from Biaozi?" The one who spoke was a young man. He did not look very old, probably about the same age as Xiaochen. Replying to young Master Jean, "There's still no news." Ah, Duo said carefully, "Yesterday, Brother Biao followed Zhu Yingxiong and a person in a fox mask from the Warrior Guild's parking lot. After that, there was no news. I'm guessing that it's the Zhu clan's doing." "Zhu family, it's possible." Young Master Jean nodded and said, "Who is that person in the fox mask? Did you find out? Is he Zhu Yingxiong's bodyguard?" "This is not clear yet, but according to my observation, there doesn't seem to be such a person around Zhu Yingxiong," Ah Duo said. Listening to the conversation in the room, Xiaochen could not help but feel a chill in his heart. Young Master Jean. Brother Biao? Zhu Yingxiong? Fox mask? This person was the young master from another family who wanted to hit on Kerlin? His words at the back had confirmed this point. However, Xiaochen did not expect that this young Master Jean was actually from the Sun family. Sun family. Xiaochen did not expect that the first family he would face would be the Sun family. Looking at the young man in the wheelchair in the room, Xiaochen felt that it was a little funny. Zhu Yingxiong was really sinister, even more vicious than his own anus. This was simply cutting off his descendants. Damn, Zhu Yingxiong is only a level 1 inner force warrior. The problem must be with that person in the fox mask. I will kill him sooner or later. Young Master Jean fiercely gritted his teeth and said, "Investigate, continue to investigate. I want to know his identity." Kacha, there was a soft sound. Young Master Jean thought it was the sound of wind blowing through the window. However, Duo, who was in front of him, widened his eyes and pointed behind young Master Jean in disbelief. "What's with your expression? Duo, do you have a problem?" Young Master Jean looked at the suddenly stunned Duo in confusion. "Young Master Jean, behind you, look behind you." Duo's body trembled as if he had seen something unbelievable. "What's behind me?" Originally, young Master Jean turned around as if nothing had happened. However, when he suddenly saw that there was an additional person behind him, he immediately screamed and almost peed his pants. "There's no need to investigate. I am that fox mask. You can call me White Fox, or White Fox Hero," Xiaochen said indifferently. He was prepared to start with this young Master Jean. Not knowing why, when Xiao Chen saw this young Master Jin, he felt a surge of hostility in his chest. Especially when he thought about how he had ill intentions towards Kerlin, Xiao Chen was even more furious. He almost killed him directly. Chapter 175. You. How did you get in? What do you want? Young Master Jin subconsciously moved his wheelchair 2 steps back and looked at Xiao Chen in horror. Why, are you looking for me? Don't be nervous. If you cooperate, I won't kill you. Of course, if you don't cooperate, I don't mind sending you to see your Biaozi. Aren't you looking for him? Xiao Chen looked at young Master Jin with a faint smile. Although young Master Jin couldn't see Xiao Chen's expression, he heard the threat from his tone. Isn't Biaozi Lu Jianbiao? Lu Jianbiao is already dead? It seems that it was done by the person in front of me. You. How do you want me to cooperate with you? Young Master Jin hesitated and asked in fear. I want to ask you something. You just have to answer truthfully. Xiao Chen said faintly, of course, it's up to me whether you cooperate well or not. If you don't tell the truth, then I can't do anything but send you on your way. Say it. Young Master Jin was relieved when he heard that Xiao Chen only asked about things. He really couldn't do anything that would harm the Sun family's interests. After all, although he was greedy for life and afraid of death, he was also a member of the Sun family. If he betrayed the Sun family, it would be worse than death. Do you know Xie Xiaofeng? Xiao Chen said the name of the rich woman's nephew. Xie Xiaofeng? Young Master Jin was slightly stunned. Who is he? He is the 3rd generation of the Xie family in the provincial capital. I heard that your Sun family and the Xie family have been in conflict recently. Did you kidnap the children of the Xie family to achieve the purpose of forcing them out? Xiao Chen asked. Young Master Jin finally understood Xiao Chen's question. He looked at Xiao Chen strangely. You are from the Xie family? But aren't you with the Zhu family's Zhu Yingxiong? I have nothing to do with them. You can call me White Fox Hero. I took the money and helped to eliminate the disaster. Xiao Chen slapped young Master Jin's head. Why do you have so much nonsense? Am I asking you or are you asking me? If you want to die, just say it and save time. Anyway, I can still get money from the Zhu family after I kill you. If it wasn't for the Xie family paying me a lot of money to not kill you at this critical juncture, do you think you would be able to live until now? Young Master Jin subconsciously shrunk his neck. He did not doubt Xiao Chen's words. If he wanted to kill Zhu Yingxiong, then the Zhu clan could naturally kill him. Xiao Chen had probably accepted a mission from the warrior guild. What wouldn't a masked martial artist like him dare to do? I say. Our Sun family doesn't even need to use any tricks. Although this kidnapping seems to solve the problem, if the warriors guild finds out about it, it will be even more troublesome if they disqualify our Sun family. Young Master Jin smiled bitterly and said, it's actually very easy for us to get rid of the Xie clan. My uncle, Medicine Master Sun, is in charge of purchasing medicinal herbs at the warriors' market. As long as Medicine Master Sun says that the quality of the Xie clan's medicinal herbs are not up to standard, they will back off after making things difficult for them a few more times. Why do we have to go against the principles of the Warriors Guild? Xiao Chen was stunned when he heard that. He originally thought that this matter was done by the Sun family, but now it seemed that it had nothing to do with the Sun family. Young Master Jin was right. If Medicine Master Sun was hindering them, they wouldn't even need to use these external means to get rid of the Xie clan. Why take the risk? Can your words represent the Sun family? Xiao Chen asked. My name is Sun Rongjin. I'm the focus of the 3rd generation of the Sun family. I'm also a strong contender for the position of young master. What do you think? Sun Rongjin said proudly. Slap. Another slap landed on Sun Rongjin's face. I asked you to speak, and you want me to speak? Do you want to die? I don't want to. Sun Rongjin was shocked and quickly lowered his head. The reason why he was so obedient was because he knew the situation of these warriors. For the sake of the warrior guild points, they would accept any mission, even killing people was not a problem. If Sun Rongjin was killed just like that, it would be a little too unjust. If the Xia clan's child was kidnapped, who do you think is the most likely culprit? Xiao Chen asked again. How would I know? It's impossible for our Sun family to do it. It's a waste of effort, and it's easy to leave something behind. Sun Rongjin shook his head. I feel that it should be done by someone who doesn't know the Xia clan's identity. Otherwise, who would cause this trouble? Previously, Xiao Chen's first impression was that the Sun family was the most suspicious. However, after listening to Sun Rongjin's explanation, Xiao Chen thought that the Sun family was the least likely culprit. Since there were other ways, why would they use such a risky method? Thinking of this, Xiao Chen glanced at Sun Rongjin. He felt that it was a pity to let him go, so he said to the Elder Heaven Ancestor in his mind, Elder Heaven Ancestor, is there a way to make this person a eunuch? Eunuch? If you kick him to death, won't he become a eunuch? Elder Heaven Ancestor said. Xiao Chen was speechless. What if I kick him to death? Are there any punishment measures? Oh, you inject a trace of vitality into his kidney water point. If he goes to find a woman to have sex, then he will lose his yang and die. Elder Heaven Ancestor thought about it and said. However, this was the method of the demon sect, and it was rarely used. I got it. Xiao Chen sneered and knocked Sun Rongjin and Aduo unconscious. Xiao Chen would leave in a while. He was worried that Sun Rongjin would not alert the family's guards to surround and intercept him. It was better to knock them unconscious. Sun Rongjin was only a martial artist with less than stage 1 inner force, and Aduo was only a martial artist with just stage 1 inner force. In front of Xiao Chen, they had no power to fight back. After knocking Sun Rongjin unconscious, Xiao Chen extended his hand and pressed on Sun Rongjin's Shinshui acupoint. In the past, when Xiao Chen was a good-for-nothing, he would always study the problems of his body. Therefore, he was very familiar with the acupoints of the human body. After injecting a trace of essence into Sun Rongjin's Shinshui acupoint, Xiao Chen quickly left the place in a flash. All the way to the parking lot, Xiao Chen found that the Lexus LX 570 was still parked there, and no one even paid attention to it. This made Xiao Chen very speechless. The Sun family came and went as if they were walking on flat ground. Xiao Chen got in the car, started the car, and went back the same way. Still, no one paid attention to him, and no one stopped him. It was as if Xiao Chen was invisible. Until he was out of the Sun family's territory, Xiao Chen was relieved. Fortunately, it was the Sun family. If he went to the Qing family or the Chen family, with his current skills, he wouldn't be able to get in. He would be caught and beaten to death before he could get in. However, this trip was equivalent to a wasted trip. Xiao Chen didn't get any useful information at all. He only knew that young Master Jin was from the Sun family, but what was the use? The kidnappers weren't from the Sun family. Xiao Chen was thinking about how to explain to the rich woman. But no matter what, Xiao Chen had to inform the rich woman. When he returned to the villa area and passed by the door of the rich woman's villa, Xiao Chen stopped the car, got out, and rang the doorbell. The rich woman opened the door and was surprised to see Xiao Chen. White Fox Hero, why are you here so late? I just went to the Sun family. Let's talk inside. Xiao Chen waved his hand and said to the rich woman. Okay, please come in. The rich woman quickly let Xiao Chen into the living room. Her sister-in-law, the haggard woman, also heard the sound and quickly came out of the room. She looked at Xiao Chen with some expectation. I just came out of the Sun family. The Sun family shouldn't be the culprit behind the kidnapping of Xia Xiaofeng. As Xiao Chen said this, he took out his phone and played a conversation between him and Sun Rongjin to the rich woman and the haggard woman. In the recording, Sun Rongjin had clearly stated the Sun family's position. The rich woman and the haggard woman had a preconceived notion that the Sun family was behind the kidnapping. But now that they had calmed down and thought about it, Sun Rongjin's words were not unreasonable. Since the Sun family had Medicine Master Sun's help, there was no need for them to do such a dangerous thing. I'm sorry for troubling the White Fox hero to go to the Sun family. The rich woman looked at Xiao Chen apologetically. But don't worry, the 2 million will not be a small reward. I'll give it to you as a reward for today. If the White Fox hero finds my nephew, the points of the Warrior Guild will be yours. The Xia family will also owe you a favor. Then I won't stand on ceremony. Xiao Chen was in need of money, and the rich woman wanted to pay the 2 million to Xiao Chen regardless of whether he was found or not. This surprised Xiao Chen. That's right. If the White Fox hero didn't accept it, we would think that you didn't work hard enough. The rich woman handed the bank card to Xiao Chen and said, the password is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's 2 million in it. Then I won't bother you anymore. I'll come again if there's any news. Xiao Chen kept the bank card and got up to leave. After all, it was very late. The rich woman and the haggard woman sent Xiao Chen off respectfully. Xiao Chen drove directly to the villa. On the way, Xiao Chen saw a familiar figure not far in front of him. When his car approached, he realized that it was Yi Xiaoya. Xiao Chen rolled down the window and shouted, Yi Xiaoya. Xiao Chen. Yi Xiaoya saw Xiao Chen in the car. At this moment, Xiao Chen had already taken off his mask. What's the matter? Nothing, I just saw you. Get in the car. Let's go back together. Xiao Chen asked. There's no need. I'm used to walking back. Yi Xiaoya shook her head. She didn't appreciate it. Well, be careful. You're a girl, and it's so late. Xiao Chen didn't force it. It wouldn't be good if Yi Xiaoya thought that he had ulterior motives. Moreover, Xiao Chen really didn't have any other intentions. Back at the villa, Xiao Chen began to decoct the herbs. It didn't take long for Yi Xiaoya to come back. She just nodded at Xiao Chen, who was about to go to the kitchen to cook, and then went upstairs. Xiao Chen always felt that Yi Xiaoya, this cool girl, was strange. He didn't know what she did. He didn't see her work or go to school every day. Other than playing with flowers and plants, she was just brewing herbs like him. Was she also a cultivator? Chapter 176. Of course, Xiao Chen was just thinking about it casually. Cultivators were so rare. How could Yi Xiaoya be one? Besides, if she was a cultivator, would the elder heaven ancestor not tell him? After cooking, Xiao Chen gave Qing Menjing a call. The young mistress came downstairs to eat. However, Jean Bebe was not around today. She would only stay here during the weekends and would return to the Jean residence during normal days. After a while, Qing Menjing came downstairs with a yawn. She said in a daze, Xiao Chen, you're back. Why did you drive after going out to buy medicine for so long? Is it hard to buy? Well, only the Warrior Guild has it, Xiao Chen said. I was afraid that others would recognize me, so I went to the temporary Warrior Guild. I see. If you want to buy anything in the future, you can tell me. I'll buy it for you. Qing Menjing did not expect that Xiao Chen would go to a neighboring city to buy medicine. She felt a little guilty. All this was forced by the Qing family. No need. Isn't it more rare if you want to buy it? You are not a warrior. Why do you want to buy those medicinal materials? Xiao Chen shook his head with a smile. I'll go by myself. You're right. Qing Menjing thought about it and agreed. If she went to the Warrior Guild to buy medicinal materials, the Qing family would be the first to be surprised. Hey, let me ask you. You eat medicinal materials every day, and you're almost like a medicine pot. Is there any effect? Rome wasn't built in a day, Xiao Chen said. Tall buildings are built from the ground up. What do you mean? Qing Menjing was stunned and then understood. Are you crazy? Are you showing off your ability? You're always so arrogant. You don't even know that you've offended someone. Did you have a conflict with Qing Mingxiang today? How did you know? It was Xiao Chen's turn to be stunned. Humph, Qing Mingxiang called me and asked me to teach you a lesson. Qing Menjing said. Isn't he your brother? Can he order you? Xiao Chen said. Qing Mingxiang was so narrow-minded that he thought of revenge in the blink of an eye. Of course, he can't order me, but who can guarantee that he won't take revenge in other ways? Qing Menjing said, this time, I promised him to teach you a lesson. Next time, you better be quiet for me. If there's a problem, you deserve to die. I'll take note. Xiao Chen nodded and said. He was a little touched. The young mistress was still very protective of a servant like him. After dinner, Xiao Chen returned to his room. The medicinal herbs were almost done. Xiao Chen drank it all in one gulp and then collected the dregs. Today was the last day he would use it. Tomorrow, he would have to buy medicine again. Luckily, he had earned 2 million today. Otherwise, Xiao Chen would not have any money to buy medicine tomorrow. When will this kind of hard life where I have to worry about money come to an end? What made Xiao Chen speechless was that after drinking this medicine today, there was still no sign of a breakthrough. His body was warm, and he excreted some filth, but there was no sign of a breakthrough. Elder Heaven Ancestor, why haven't you broken through yet? Xiao Chen asked anxiously. I say, Xiao Chen, you just broke through and you want to continue breaking through. Do you think breaking through is so easy? Elder Heaven Ancestor snorted coldly. It's fast enough. If it's faster, I'm really afraid that you will have a problem. I think it's a good thing to have this buffer. Xiao Chen could only smile bitterly. He also knew that Elder Heaven Ancestor wouldn't lie to him. It should be a good thing to have a buffer, but the key problem was that the enemies he faced were not only the children of these aristocratic families, but the martial artists of a higher level. However, since Elder Heaven Ancestor said so, Xiao Chen could only take one step at a time. Sun Family's mansion. Sun Rongjin waited for Xiao Chen to leave for more than an hour before he slowly transformed. When he woke up, he quickly slapped Adu, who was next to him, awake. F***CK, hurry up and tell the people below to stop that Arctic fox person. Yes, young Master Jean. Adu quickly got up from the ground, but when he looked at the clock on the wall, he suddenly said helplessly, young Master Jean, that person has been gone for more than an hour. Where can we stop him? So long? Sun Rongjin looked at the time and suddenly frowned. Forget it, push me to see Grandpa. Yes. Duo hurriedly pushed Sun Rongjin's wheelchair out of his room and went to the Sun family's manor. It was located at the most central location, the most luxurious and largest villa. This was the residence of the Sun family's current patriarch, Sun Xiaonong. Old Master Sun, Sun Xiaonong, was born in an ordinary family. Later, he started some medicine business, but it was not very big until Sun Xiaonong's cousin's son, Sun Tiantu, coincidentally became an alchemist. Then, the Sun family began to develop little by little. Sun Tiantu's father died early, and Sun Xiaonong had been raising him. Therefore, he was like the Sun family. Rongjin, it's so late. Why are you looking for me? Sun Xiaonong was notified by the Sun family's servant and saw his grandson, Sun Rongjin, in the living room. Grandpa, someone just broke into our Sun family. Sun Rongjin said, it's the fox mask who was with Zhu Yingxiong. What? Someone broke into the Sun family? Tell me in detail what's going on. Sun Xiaonong was also a little surprised. The Sun family now had a lot of masters. How could they still let an outsider break in? It's like this. On the way here just now, I asked Duo to find someone to retrieve the surveillance video. The fox mask came back in Biaozi's Lexus, so our guard subconsciously thought that Biaozi came back. Sun Rongjin analyzed, the car didn't have a license plate, so everyone was fooled by him. This is the case. What did he come for? Did you catch him? Sun Xiaonong nodded. This couldn't be blamed on his guards. It was really a loophole. I'm ashamed. The fox mask skill was good. He knocked me out and left, but he didn't seem to have any malice towards our Sun family. He called himself the White Fox Hero. He should be a warrior doing a trial mission at the Warrior Guild. Sun Rongjin said, according to him, he killed Biaozi because Zhu Yingxiong asked him for help. What is the purpose of his coming this time? Sun Xiaonong nodded. He also knew about what happened yesterday. He also wondered who the fox mask beside Zhu Yingxiong was. Today's explanation made him understand. He came because he took a mission from the Xia family. Xia Xiaofeng of the Xia family was kidnapped. The Xia family suspected that our Sun family did it, so they sent him to investigate. Sun Rongjin said, but I analyzed the situation of the Sun family for him. He understood that our Sun family didn't need to do such a thing, so he left. Well, in this way, we can be sure that he doesn't belong to the Zhu family or the Xia family. He is a warrior doing a mission. Sun Xiaonong said, however, no matter whether he is doing a mission or not, no one can offend our Sun family twice and be safe. Grandpa, I understand. I won't let him go. Sun Rongjin said. I know. You can go now. When your Uncle Tianta comes back tomorrow, let him take a look at your injury and treat you. With his help, you should be able to recover as soon as possible. Sun Xiaonong said, when the Sun family becomes a supplier of the Warrior Guild, I will arrange a marriage for you. Don't drop the ball at the critical moment. The woman knows that you are now a eunuch, so she will definitely not agree. Great, thank you, Grandpa. Sun Rongjin said quickly. Now, he was kicked by Zhu Yingxiong. He could only sit in a wheelchair. His lower body was in great pain, but if Medicine Master Sun helped to treat him, he would definitely recover soon. At night, Xiao Chen was meditating and absorbing the spiritual energy of heaven and earth when his phone rang. Xiao Chen was a little puzzled as to why someone was calling him so late at night. However, when he picked up the phone to take a look, it was actually the number of the other card. It was an unknown number. Hello. Xiao Chen picked up the phone. Although there were often some scam calls in the middle of the night, Xiao Chen thought of the task he took at the Warrior Guild yesterday. Is this Mr. White Fox? A low male voice came from the other side of the phone. Yes, and you are? Xiao Chen asked. It's a task I issued about the evil cultivator. This evil cultivator is in the suburbs north of the city. He has captured some children and is preparing to sacrifice them for cultivation tonight. Come quickly. If you are late, I think some innocent people will die, the man said. North of the city. Give me the specific address, I will be there right away. Xiao Chen said directly. Okay, I will send it to you now, the man said. After hanging up the phone, Xiao Chen received a text message on his mobile phone. It had the detailed address of the evil cultivator, and it even used a map coordinate. Xiao Chen quickly put on a white coat and the white fox mask. He jumped out of the window and ran in the direction of the suburbs north of the city. Xiao Chen did not drive. There were some people who knew about the Lexus. Xiao Chen was afraid that someone would notice it. Moreover, he was now a level 4 refinement stage cultivator. If he ran at full speed, he would not be much slower than a car. The autumn night in Songning City was a little cold, especially in the suburbs. The cold wind was whistling. Xiao Chen followed the map on his mobile phone and came to the vicinity of the evil cultivator. It was an empty wasteland. It was originally a village, but it had been demolished at the beginning of this year and was planned to be an industrial park. Xiao Chen carefully observed the surroundings. There was an abandoned factory here. It was a relatively large building. It should be the village's former factory, but it was now deserted. Xiao Chen gazed into the distance. Perhaps it was because he was a cultivator, he discovered that above the factory, there was a mass of black gas. Although it wasn't very obvious in the dark, Xiao Chen's keen senses were still able to detect it. There is indeed some evil aura. Xiao Chen was shocked and sighed. Chapter 177. Xiao Chen, the opponent's strength is very high, you must be careful. Elder Sky's stern warning suddenly sounded in Xiao Chen's ears. Under normal circumstances, Elder Heaven Ancestor would not remind him. Even when he was facing Lu Jianbiao the day before, Elder Heaven Ancestor did not say anything. Today, Elder Heaven Ancestor reminded him for the first time. This made Xiao Chen's heart tighten. Could it be that the enemy's strength level was higher than what was announced? That would be a scam. But no matter what, since he was here, there was no reason for him to leave. If his first mission in the Warriors Guild failed, it would affect his overall reputation. Xiao Chen gritted his teeth. Let's do it. After taking a deep breath, he quickly ran toward the abandoned factory. He did not stop until he was near the factory. Xiao Chen's footsteps were very light and silent. He did not alert the people in the factory. Buzz. Xiao Chen's phone vibrated twice. He deliberately set his phone to vibrate when he went out. The purpose was to prevent the ringing from affecting his mission. Xiao Chen took out his phone and glanced at it. He saw a message, "I see you, brother. Good luck. I'm no match for you. I'm leaving first." This was the number of the person who issued the mission. It seemed that he had found the right place. Xiao Chen put away his phone and looked at the factory. He adjusted his state of mind and quickly and quietly began to look for the entrance to the factory. The factory was closed. Other than the entrance, there were no windows around. On the walls, there were some expired advertising slogans. He did not know which era they were from. However, when Xiao Chen passed through a crack in the wall and looked inside, he saw a faint light coming from inside. Xiao Chen looked in the direction of the light and saw a man in a black robe standing in the middle of a pile of candles. He was carrying out some strange ritual. He did not know what he was doing. Beside him, there were a few small beds. There were a few children lying on the small beds. It seemed that they were young and old. This discovery made Xiao Chen's heart skip a beat. Could it be that Xie Xiaofeng, who was kidnapped from the Xie family, was here? This thought only lasted for a moment. Now, Xiao Chen's main goal was to get rid of this evil practitioner. Otherwise, everything would be empty talk. Thinking of this, Xiao Chen quickly found the entrance to the factory. Although the door was closed, it was not locked. Xiao Chen stretched out his hand and wanted to push the door open. However, a cold voice came from behind him, "Wait." This voice almost made Xiao Chen vomit blood. It was dark and there was suddenly someone speaking in front of the abandoned factory. Fortunately, Xiao Chen had grown up frightened and was immune to it. His nerves collapsed and he turned around. However, this time, he was even more frightened than before. He was almost scared to death. This person was actually Yi Xiaoya. He saw Yi Xiaoya in a black tights. She was extremely cool and she was staring at Xiao Chen. "You are the white fox?" Yi Xiaoya obviously knew that Xiao Chen was her partner through his mask. Otherwise, she would not have reminded him. "Silly, are you a stage 4 inner force warrior? I don't know why the warrior guild allowed you to accept this mission." Xiao Chen was speechless. Why was he so silly? Although he was a novice who did this mission for the first time, his strength was still there. "That's right. Little girl, don't talk nonsense if you don't know anything. I have investigated for a long time. There is no danger here. The evil practitioner is carrying out some kind of ritual inside." When Xiao Chen spoke, he changed his voice. He did not want to be recognized by Yi Xiaoya. If this secret was exposed, it would be terrible. Humph. Yi Xiaoya looked at Xiao Chen as if she was looking at an idiot. "I know this evil practitioner. Do you know him? He likes to set traps at the door. Do you know him?" "What do you mean? What do you mean?" Xiao Chen was stunned. "Get out of the way." Yi Xiaoya was speechless. She glared at him and ignored him. Then, she took out a branch out of nowhere. She bent down and opened the door. Then, she quickly retreated to the side. Suddenly, a black net fell from the top of the factory's door and quickly hung up. Xiao Chen jumped in fright. Holy sh*t, this heretic cultivator knows how to play with hidden weapons? Idiot. Yi Xiaoye saw Xiao Chen standing there in shock. She curled her lips and said, "How can there be such a stupid participant like you? Are you here to get points? You will know my strength in a while." Xiao Chen was embarrassed. However, it was his first time doing a trial mission. It was inevitable that he was inexperienced. Xiao Chen did not believe that Yi Xiaoye was not like this the first time. However, to Xiao Chen's surprise, Yi Xiaoye was actually a martial artist. It seemed that her strength was not low. Otherwise, she would not have accepted this mission. He. Who is trespassing on my territory? At that moment, a sneer was heard. The evil practitioner in the black robe rushed out of the abandoned factory and stood not far away from Yi Xiaoye and Xiao Chen. So it's 2 little kids. Very good. I need 2 sacrifices to refine my body. It's you. How arrogant. You're just a little evil practitioner and you call yourself a hillman. The reputation of the demonic sects has been ruined by you. Today, I will use you as a sacrifice. As she spoke, Yi Xiaoye took out a soft knife from her waist. It shone with an eerie, cold light under the moonlight. The cold murderous aura it emitted made people shiver uncontrollably. Xiao Chen did not expect Yi Xiaoye, who usually did not speak much, to be so talkative during a mission. This girl was like a completely different person. Moreover, her words revealed a lot of information. Judging from Yi Xiaoye's tone, she should be related to the demonic sections. Even if she was not, they should not be enemies. Otherwise, she would not speak up for the demonic sects. Moreover, she called herself a missy. If she was not acting cute, she must be someone with some background. Normally, only women from influential families or sects would call themselves missy. Normal rogue cultivators would not speak in such a tone. How dare you wave a soft knife in front of a hillman? I'll kill you first. As he spoke, the black-robed man shook his hands. A red flaming bullet flew in Yi Xiaoye's direction. Watch out. Xiao Chen shouted instinctively. Humph. It's just a small trick. Yi Xiaoye did not care at all. She swept the silver snake knife in her hand forward. The knife instantly danced in the air. It was an ice flower. When it came into contact with the flaming bullet, the 2 quickly cancelled each other out as if they had never appeared. Xiao Chen was a little shocked watching from the side. Why were these evil practitioners not using their fists and legs? Instead, they were using something similar to a special ability? As if he had heard Xiao Chen's thoughts, the elder heaven ancestor's voice rang in Xiao Chen's ears. Evil practitioners and disciples of the demonic sects do not cultivate inner strength. It's called demonic energy. Demonic energy can be transformed into some fireballs, ice flowers, and the like. It's just for show. It consumes a lot of demonic energy. It can only be used to show off and scare martial artists. You can do it if you want. Xiao Chen was a little speechless. Such a powerful move had been turned into a show-off by the Elder Heaven Ancestor. However, when he thought about it, Elder Heaven Ancestor was a very powerful existence. This kind of move was really insignificant in his eyes. The black-robed man's fireball was easily broken by Yi Xiaoye. He immediately became a little angry. You're from the demonic sects. In fact, even if the fireball hit the martial artist's body, it did not cause much damage. It was only used to surprise and scare people. It was used to catch people off guard. Then, one could continue to attack and gain the upper hand. Don't underestimate the upper hand. This was the so-called one step ahead. In many cases, if you were a step slower and your strength was not enough to turn the tables, you would be suppressed by others. However, the fireball was broken by Yi Xiaoye. The 2 were back to the starting point. Yi Xiaoye did not speak. She stabbed forward with her silver snake soft knife. It seems that I can't use some of my real skills. The black-robed man laughed strangely. Suddenly, his long robe shook. A 3-feet-long token jumped into his hand. He slapped it towards Yi Xiaoya's face. Be careful. Get out of the way. Xiao Chen could not help but remind her. Stop watching the fun. Hurry up and help. Yi Xiaoya was a little annoyed. This guy is really a newbie. He doesn't know anything. Oh, okay. Xiao Chen chanted the mantra and slammed it towards the back of the black-robed man. The black-robed man did not dodge Xiao Chen's attack. He did not put Xiao Chen in his eyes at all. Before, he always thought that Yi Xiaoya had the initiative, and Xiao Chen stood at the side like a fool. He thought that Xiao Chen was Yi Xiaoya's assistant or follower. Moreover, especially when Xiao Chen attacked from behind, he did not show any strength of a martial artist. It was as if Xiao Chen was not even a level 1 inner strength martial artist. Being hit by such a person would not cause any harm at all. Let alone once, 10 times would not be a problem. The black-robed man thought that Yi Xiaoya just wanted Xiao Chen to come up and distract him. So, he did not care about Xiao Chen at all. He could do whatever he wanted. He focused all his attention on Yi Xiaoya. However, the next shocking scene appeared. There was a loud bang. Xiao Chen's full-force punch hit the back of the black-robed man. The black-robed man was testing each other's moves with Yi Xiaoya. Because in his opinion, Yi Xiaoya's strength should be comparable to his. The gap between the two was very small, so he had been cautious. However, he suddenly felt a sharp pain in his back, and then he was pushed out by an infinite force. Get out of the way. Xiao Chen saw that Yi Xiaoya was just raising the silver snake soft knife to attack the black-robed man. She was standing in front of the black-robed man, so he was shocked and quickly reminded her. Chapter 178. Yi Xiaoya was stunned by Xiao Chen's shout. However, her silver snake soft knife had already been thrust out. How could she dodge? Besides, why did she dodge? Yi Xiaoya was puzzled. Then, she understood why Xiao Chen asked her to dodge, because an even more shocking scene appeared. The black-robed man roared, and his whole body flew towards Yi Xiaoya's direction. Pucci, the silver snake soft knife seemed to be there, and the black-robed man took the initiative to rush forward to be stabbed. The silver snake soft knife directly stabbed into the black-robed man's abdomen. However, correspondingly, the black-robed man's forward momentum also smashed Yi Xiaoya backwards. Bang! Bang! 2 loud noises sounded, and Yi Xiaoya and the black-robed man landed on the ground not far away. They landed one after the other. The black-robed man fell hard, but Yi Xiaoya was also very embarrassed. Wah-ya-ya-ya-ya. The black-robed man was fuming with anger. He struggled to get up from the ground. Fortunately, he had the demonic energy to protect his body, so he was not killed by Xiao Chen's punch. However, even so, he suffered a serious internal injury. Damn it, I really underestimated the enemy. The black-robed man stared at Xiao Chen with hatred. He never thought that the follower he ignored was actually a martial artist at the peak of stage 4 inner force. Before this, he had been hiding his strength, pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger. The black-robed man took out a small bottle from his sleeve, opened the seal, and poured the liquid inside into his mouth. At this moment, the black aura around his body became even thicker, and the soft knife that was inserted into his abdomen was suddenly spat out by him. The handle of the knife shot towards Yi Xiaoya. If this hit landed, even if it was the handle, Yi Xiaoya would also suffer a serious injury. Be careful. Xiao Chen suddenly shouted, and quickly ran in the direction of Yi Xiaoya. He lifted Yi Xiaoya and threw her to the side, and then kicked the soft knife back. He didn't know what this black-robed man drank just now, but seeing that the black aura around him had become thicker, he knew it was not something good. Xiao Chen was vigilant, and wanted to kill this person as soon as possible. God knows if this person would suddenly have a burst of strength. This kind of evil cultivator couldn't be judged by common sense. When the soft knife was kicked back, Xiaochen quickly set up an illusion, so the soft knife stabbed to the right, and the illusion stabbed to the left of the black-robed man's body. In this way, what the black-robed man saw was the illusory soft knife, and he would be ignored by the real soft knife. Under normal circumstances, if the illusory knife was to the left, then the black-robed man would definitely dodge to the right because it would be easier to dodge the knife. And in this way, he would be stabbed by the real soft knife. Xiaochen didn't know how this guy could survive so long. He was punched by him and stabbed by Yi Xiaoya, but he still didn't die. Instead, he became even more powerful. Even the Lu Jianbiao he faced yesterday wasn't so strong. It seemed that these evil cultivators still had some tricks up their sleeves. Moreover, the same martial artists were also different from each level 4 martial artist. Lu Jianbiao was slightly weaker, but this black-robed man was strong. Of course, if he thought about it, it was normal. If it was so easy to kill, there wouldn't be a mission posted on the warrior guild, and the reward would be very generous. Taking advantage of this moment, Xiaochen said to Yi Xiaoya, "Why didn't you dodge just now? Don't you know that you were almost hit by your own soft knife?" Yi Xiaoya's fall was not light, and this time, she was picked up by Xiaochen and thrown to the side. She was dizzy from the fall, and when she heard Xiaochen scolding her, she was a little angry. "Isn't it all because of you? Both times I was thrown to the ground because of you." Xiaochen shook his head. He had saved her life, but this girl still didn't know how to be grateful. He was really speechless. Pfft, the black-robed man really fell into the trap. He dodged to the right, and Xiaochen's soft knife stabbed into the black-robed man's chest. How is this possible? It's impossible. The black-robed man looked at his chest in surprise. He clearly dodged the soft knife. How did he get stabbed? He looked at the place where he dodged, but there was no soft knife on the ground. He was suddenly shocked, and some understanding came to him. Illusion? You are also a demonic cultivator. You are all from the demonic sects. No wonder you are against me. Good, very good. Today, I will fight to the death. Even if I can't live, I will die with you. Demonic cultivators were usually ostracized by demonic cultivators. Although they came from the demonic sects, the disciples of the demonic sects still had a lot of self-restraint in their cultivation. Although they also practiced some unorthodox things, they would never harm others to benefit themselves to achieve the purpose of cultivation. For example, the disciples of the demonic sects could absorb poisonous insects to cultivate, but they would never harm ordinary people to cultivate. This black-robed man seemed to have been attacked by demonic cultivators, so when he found out that Xiaochen and Yi Xiaoya were both demonic cultivators, he immediately became anxious and wanted to die together with them. Yi Xiaoya also saw the strange scene just now, and she was a little surprised. This person is actually also a demonic cultivator? Which sect was he a disciple of? Why haven't I heard of such a person in Songming City before? Suddenly, she saw a cloud of black gas above the demonic cultivator's head. In the air, it suddenly formed the shape of a skull, and it swallowed Xiaochen. Dark Devour. The black-robed man shouted, "Either get out of here with your cultivation partner and don't bother about my business, or we will die together." In the demonic sects, male and female dual cultivators were called cultivation partners, and dual cultivation was also a kind of cultivation method of the demonic sections. The black-robed man subconsciously thought that Yi Xiaoya was Xiaochen's cultivation partner. Because he finally saw that the male demonic cultivator that he had ignored from the beginning was the strongest. This guy pretended to be a pig to eat the tiger. It was too deceptive. Get out of here. Xiaochen came for money, how could he leave so easily? Besides, among the children in the factory, it was very likely that Xie Xiaofeng from the Xie family was among them. In this way, Xiaochen could not leave. He had already seen the medicinal herbs and waved at him. He must not give up so easily. If he ran away on his first mission, wouldn't he be laughed at to death? This is not a level 4 mission. Yi Xiaoya suddenly frowned. The strength of the black-robed man had obviously surpassed a level 4 inner force warrior. Now, the move that he urged was comparable to a level 5 inner force warrior. Xiao Chen rolled his eyes. At this time, he still had the mood to study the level of the mission. He should kill the guy in front of him first. I say, Elder Heaven Ancestor, his martial arts are so cool. As an awesome cultivator, don't I have martial arts? It's not a solution to fight head-on. It's not a problem to deal with low-end fools. Now that I've encountered a high-level demonic cultivator, I'm stretched. Xiao Chen smiled bitterly and complained to Elder Heaven Ancestor. I do have skills, but... Elder Heaven Ancestor paused and said, my skills. I'll teach you. If you use them, I'm afraid that people with ulterior motives will target you. F***CK. If you don't teach me, I'll die if I run into a situation like this a few more times. Who cares if he's targeting me or not? I'll just be careful. Besides, there are plenty of people targeting me, Xiao Chen cried out. Now, hee. Elder Heaven Ancestor smiled and said nothing. Obviously, in his eyes, Xiao Chen's enemies were nothing. Hey, cool girl. Hurry up and attack. I'm the only one fighting him, and I'm going to die soon. Xiao Chen said anxiously when he saw that Yi Xiaoya didn't come to him. If you touch that black fog, you'll be dead, fool. Yi Xiaoya was stunned and said anxiously, I don't know if you're a demonic cultivator or not. This black fog of death can destroy people's minds. What? Just as Xiao Chen's voice fell, the skull black fog covered Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen shouted in his heart. Why didn't you say so earlier? I can only fight. Xiao Chen exerted strength in his feet and suddenly rushed toward the black-robed man. He circulated the mnemonic chant and poured all his primordial qi into his fist and punched at the black-robed man. The black-robed man was stunned. The skull black fog was the essence refined from all the evil energy in his body. It was like his primordial spirit. Although it could devour the enemy's mind, it also consumed his own mind. In other words, it was fine if he took it back, but if he really fought the enemy head-on, he would die without a doubt. And this black-robed man really did not expect that there would be such a powerful demonic cultivator like Xiao Chen. He was simply a suicide squad member. He really dared to die. He was at his wits' end. The so-called mutual destruction was just to scare Xiao Chen and Yi Xiaoya. However, now that things had come to this, he could only brace himself and do it. Die. Darkness devour. The black fog quickly surrounded Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen did not care and attacked with all his strength, smashing into the black-robed man's chest. At this time, the black-robed man had already refined all the evil energy in his body. It was impossible for him to use evil energy to protect his body. So when he was unguarded and hit by Xiao Chen, he would die without a doubt. Boom! Xiao Chen smashed a large hole in the chest of the black-robed man, and his entire body also flew backwards, spitting out a long arrow of blood. Then, he crashed onto the ground with a loud bang, dead as a doornail. Phew! At the same time that Xiao Chen breathed a sigh of relief, he suddenly realized that there was some inexplicable black energy in his body. This black energy surged in the meridians in his body, as if it wanted to invade his whole body. As for the primordial qi in his body, he was constantly suppressing the black gas, preventing it from succeeding. Similarly, there seemed to be some inexplicable strange ideas in Xiao Chen's mind. For example, at the moment when he killed the evil cultivator, Xiao Chen actually thought of killing Yi Xiaoya and then killing himself. Oh no, the evil cultivator's black energy just entered my body. Is this the prelude to the end? Thinking of this possibility, Xiao Chen was shocked. The evil cultivator was dead, but he was not happy at all. Chapter 179. Elder Heaven Ancestor, what's wrong with me? Xiao Chen couldn't stay calm. He came here to do quests to earn money, but if he couldn't keep his life, what was the point of having money? The evil energy has entered your body. You're too weak now, so you can't force the evil energy out. But according to my observation, you don't seem to be affected too much. Your divine sense and mental strength are very strong, so you're not like other martial artists who are directly killed. You're still very strong. Elder Heaven Ancestor said. Then, is there something wrong or not? Xiao Chen listened to Elder Heaven Ancestor and was slightly relieved. I can't tell if there's something wrong or not at the moment, but it should be fine for now. Elder Heaven Ancestor said. For now. Xiao Chen sighed. But since it was already like this, he would just pretend that there was nothing wrong. Otherwise, he would die. Xiao Chen had already gotten used to being beaten up during this period of time. Hey, are you okay? Yi Xiaoya looked at Xiao Chen and was confused. Didn't the evil energy enter your body? Stupid girl. Xiao Chen was furious. I was fighting the monsters in front, and I had to save you. Why didn't you tell me if there was any danger? What are you doing here? Yi Xiaoya was a little short of breath after being scolded by Xiao Chen. Although she was not satisfied, it was true. Originally, she thought that Xiao Chen was here to get some points, but now that the black-robed man was killed by Xiao Chen, she was the one who got the points. At most, I don't want the points anymore. After I give them out, I'll transfer them to your ID. That's more like it. Xiao Chen was overjoyed and didn't hold back at all. There was no need to be polite with a cool girl like Yi Xiaoya. Xiao Chen felt that he didn't owe her anything. He just owed her an electric cooker. Since she was about to die, it was only right to collect some points from her. Stingy. Yi Xiaoya curled her lips. Not generous at all. Xiao Chen pretended not to hear and said to Yi Xiaoya, wait for me, I'll go rescue the child inside. You're meddling in this? Yi Xiaoya frowned. We just have to go to the warrior guild and hand in the mission. The warrior guild will contact the police to deal with the aftermath. The child I'm looking for might be here. Xiao Chen did not stop and walked straight into the factory. On the ground of the factory, there were 5 small beds. There were 5 children in them and they were all unconscious. It was obvious that they had been drugged. However, what made Xiao Chen relieved was that the 5 of them did not have any external injuries. It was obvious that the black-robed man's ritual had just begun when he arrived. As expected, Xie Xiaofeng was among them. Xiao Chen heaved a sigh of relief and felt gratified at the same time. For this mission, the Xie family offered a reward of 3,000 points. Based on the calculation of 1,000 yuan per point, it would be equivalent to 3 million yuan in cash. However, almost no one would exchange for points at the warrior guild. If they wanted to exchange for money, they would usually do it at the trading hall. For example, it was possible to put up a mission with 1,000 points to exchange for 1,200,000 yuan. On the contrary, it was easy for people to buy the mission. Xiao Chen hesitated for a moment and only carried Xie Xiaofeng. As for the other children, he would let the warrior guild contact the police to deal with them according to Yi Xiaoya's suggestion. Xiao Chen did not have that much time to send them home one by one. Moreover, he did not know where their homes were. After carrying Xie Xiaofeng out, Yi Xiaoya had already carried the black-robed man's corpse on her back and was ready to hand in the mission at the warrior guild. This scene made Xiao Chen feel disgusted. This Yi Xiaoya was really bold. She was not afraid of carrying a dead man on her back in the middle of the night. Are you going with me, or should I hand in the mission for you? Yi Xiaoya saw Xiao Chen carrying a child out, so she asked, if you trust me and are not afraid that I will take all the points for myself, you don't have to go with me. Then you go. Anyway, all your points are mine. I will trust you this once. Xiao Chen shook his head and said, moreover, it is easy for me to find you. Oh. Yi Xiaoya nodded. The points will be distributed tonight. I will transfer them to you and leave you a message. Message? Xiao Chen was slightly stunned. Why would you leave me a message? He was shocked. Could it be that this Yi Xiaoya recognized him? But he had been speaking in a different voice. On the warrior guild's client. Yi Xiaoya looked at Xiao Chen strangely and said, "What client?" Xiao Chen was stunned. Yi Xiaoya was a little speechless. "Don't tell me you don't know. The Warrior Guild is a mobile client. On it, you can accept missions, issue missions, and even contact others." "Hey, is this really your first time doing a mission?" Yi Xiaoya had previously checked on White Fox, who accepted a mission with her. She saw that it was a new ID and had not completed any level 1 missions. However, since he could accept a level 4 mission, he must be capable. Otherwise, the Warrior Guild would not let him be her partner without testing him. So previously, Yi Xiaoya thought that it was a new account registered by someone. But now, it seemed that Xiao Chen was really a newbie. He didn't know a lot of common sense and was stupid. "I don't know. You mean to say that installing an app on the phone is the same as going to the Warrior Guild personally?" Xiao Chen was shocked. There was such a good thing? Then why would he go to the Warrior Guild? Next time, he would secretly accept missions at home. Who would pay attention to him? An ID of level 4 and above will do. Oh, if you are a newbie, you can only log into the client after completing today's mission. Yi Xiaoya said. Try it tonight. Just download the game Warrior Guild Adventures from the App Store. I can download it at will? Can't ordinary people also enter? Xiao Chen asked curiously. Warriors need to use their registered ID at the Warrior Guild and use the SMS verification code and a random warrior knowledge quiz to log in. Only then can they enter the Warrior Guild's trading hall. However, the registered ID on the phone is just a mobile game. Yi Xiaoya explained. At this moment, she finally believed that the person in front of her was a newbie. However, it seemed that this newbie was quite strong. He was still fine after being hit by the evil cultivator's dark devour. I see. That looks very high-end. Xiao Chen nodded to show that he remembered it. This warrior guild was really awesome to think of such a method. Don't be so surprised. I'm leaving. White Fox. Yi Xiaoya waved at Xiao Chen and left quickly. On the other hand, Xiao Chen carried Xia Xiaofeng and returned to the villa area by the Lidhua River. Along the way, Xiao Chen could often feel the demonic aura in his body acting up. It kept scuttling around. Thankfully, he had his own primordial energy to suppress it, preventing Xiao Chen from being affected by the demonic aura. However, halfway through, Xiao Chen clearly felt that the primordial energy in his body could no longer suppress the demonic aura. After all, because Xiao Chen had used a super ultimate skill on the black-robed man, he had almost used up all his primordial qi. Along the way, the remaining primordial qi in his body might have been used up while resisting the evil energy. Therefore, Xiao Chen was shocked. He quickly found a place by the side of the road where there was no one around and sat cross-legged. He put Xia Xiaofeng aside and quickly began to circulate the mantra to recover the primordial qi in his body. This primordial qi was accumulated by Xiao Chen over the past few days. How could it be fully recovered in a day? However, after 2 hours of cultivation, Xiao Chen had also recovered a lot. At least, the evil energy in his body was not so rampant. This evil energy seemed to have a spirit. When it saw that the primordial qi in Xiao Chen's body had increased, it stopped showing off. It found a corner to rest and did not cause trouble. Perhaps it was afraid that if it continued to be used up, it would not be its opponent. This allowed Xiao Chen to temporarily relax. As long as the evil energy did not cause trouble, then Xiao Chen did not need to care about it for the time being. In the future, when his strength was higher, he could chase it out. Standing up, Xiao Chen carried Xia Xiaofeng and quickly returned to the direction of the villa. Originally, Xiao Chen was thinking that it was already so late. He should not disturb the rich woman's family to send the child back. However, after thinking about it, they should be very anxious, so Xiao Chen still walked in the direction of the rich woman's villa. However, what surprised Xiao Chen was that the rich woman's villa was brightly lit. It was already 3 o'clock in the morning. Why hadn't they rested yet? Xiao Chen carried Xia Xiaofeng to the villa. However, just as he approached the villa, a martial artist in a black suit suddenly appeared from the shadows of the villa's courtyard. He shouted at Xiao Chen, "Who are you?" This martial artist was full of qi. The moment he jumped out, the strength of a stage 7 inner force martial artist was revealed. Looking at such a high-level martial artist, Xiao Chen was also stunned. Why was there such an expert in the rich woman's villa? Why wasn't there when he came last night? "Young master. Who are you?" The martial artist in the black suit saw Xia Xiaofeng in Xiao Chen's arms and immediately became excited. He reached out and wanted to snatch it. What's going on? At this time, the villa's door opened. A man in his 30s dressed in fine clothes shouted outside the villa. The martial artist in the black suit was about to snatch it when he heard the man's voice. He quickly turned around and replied, "Young master, it's the young master. This person has brought the young master back." The man in fine clothes was slightly stunned. Only then did he notice the child in Xiao Chen's arms. His breathing suddenly became rapid. He quickly walked towards Xiao Chen. "This must be the White Fox hero, right? Nice to meet you. I am the Xia family's young master, Xia Huang. The one who hired the White Fox hero is my sister, Xia Fei." Xiao Chen's pupils shrank slightly. Xia Huang, the Xia family's second-generation young master. In the past, the Xiao family also wanted to befriend him. However, they didn't have the connections. He didn't expect to see him standing in front of him now. However, the siblings' names were quite interesting. Imperial Concubine, Young Master Xia, I've brought Xia Xiaofeng back. You can tell Miss Xia Fei to cancel the mission from the Warrior Guild and give me the points. Xiao Chen said, "If there's nothing else, I'll leave first." You're tuning into the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.